Night at Rotherham. Well, Michael, I mean, I think you expected a battle here. That's what you got, and you had to dig deep and find a way of breaking Rotherham down.
Yeah, I think we ran out of time in the end, didn't we? I thought the last 20 minutes or so, that's more like us. You know, we were attacking, creating chances. I thought we started the game poorly.
You having your Sunday dinner
They
now?
were quite direct in their play, and their sort of style overcome ours. But we were sloppy, obviously losing Pat early. We lacked a bit of presence up the pitch, it's fair to say. So we had a bit of an honest conversation at half-time. Boy for them scores a heck of a strike. We could defend it a bit better. But after that, I thought our response was really good. And we ran out of time in the end. But ultimately, I think early in the game, certainly in the first half, we wasted a lot of time getting to our game plan. Once we did, we caused Rotherham a lot of problems. And I think at the end, they were glad to hear the final whistle.
You must be pleased because you said after the whole game you've not really got any time to work on things you want to work on. So in a sense you took a bit of a gamble in the last 20 minutes, but it paid off. You put Preston on, at half time.
We ran out of time in the end, but ultimately I think early in
looks
the
really
game.
good.
The thing with Pritchard's got a chest infection, so he hasn't been able to train. So if it wasn't an experienced player that I knew, you're thinking you bring him along because maybe 20-30 minutes he can bring something to the game, and that's what you do with an older professional. I just think in the start of the game we spelled it out for him, but also our third game in 7 days, it's our second travel, as you say, I'm new in, so we haven't got our habit.
Looks really good.
The thing with Pritchard's
Can I do it again?
He hasn't been able to train, so if it wasn't an experienced player, we're frustrated to go home from the weekend, but you bring him along because maybe 20-30 minutes he leads coming into the game. That's what you do with an older. I just think we run out of time. I just think in the start of the game we spelled it out for him, but also third game in 7 days, it's our second travel, as you say, I'm new in, so we haven't got our habit.
Looks really good.
The thing with Pritchard's
Can I do it again?
He hasn't been able to train, so if it wasn't an experienced player, we're frustrated to go home from the weekend, but you bring him along because maybe 20-30 minutes he leads coming into the game. That's what you do with an older. I just think we run out of time. I just think in the start of the game we spelled it out for him, but also third game in 7 days, it's our second travel, as you say, I'm new in, so we haven't got our habit.
Looks really good. Can I do it again?
He hasn't been able to train, so if it wasn't an experienced player, we're frustrated to go home from the weekend, but you bring him along because maybe 20-30 minutes he leads coming into the game. That's what you do with an older. I just think we run out of time. I just think in the start of the game we spelled it out for him, but also third game in 7 days, it's our second travel, as you say, I'm new in, so we haven't got our habit.
Looks really good. Can I do it again?
He hasn't been able to train, so if it wasn't an experienced player, we're frustrated to go home from the weekend, but you bring him along because maybe 20-30 minutes he leads coming into the game. That's what you do with an older. I just think we run out of time. Well, also the game at the end was so open, wasn't it? We were happy for it to be open because it was the only part of the game where actually there was space, and as I say, we didn't want the final whistle. We could have done with a couple more minutes.
Total Sport North East.
Live. Did you just stay in last night? What did you do?
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Michael Beale talking about the schedule there, and Roberts not being part of the squad today.
Was that because of the fireworks and that?
That's what he was referring to as tightening up. He's got a point about the schedule. I mean, I had a discussion about this following Rotherham. 4 games in 9 days. Was there really any need for the game on Friday night? Could that not be played a little bit later in the spring?
It could have. But again, you know, we look at that Backpass magazine when they played maybe Christmas Day and Boxing Day. I know football's changed, and people will talk about has it changed for the better. You look at, they've got better, shall we say, football pitches, training pitches,
afternoon, Gordon.
Staff, the way they do all the, shall we say,
afternoon, Alan. How you doing, mate?
Regards of players, but
Happy New Year to you both.
Stat now. Everything is on stats, you know, and then you're thinking, are we any better off? You know, you look at, you know, last night I was watching Arsenal play, you know, and playing against Fulham. You know, at the end of the day, it's 11 v 11.
Early start for us all, I know.
You know, if players love playing football, and you know, we say, okay, you know, the pitch is a lot better than they were, 20, 30 years ago. And if you're winning games, you're playing well, you want to be playing every single game.
It's funny, isn't it? Because some players are more robust.
Yeah, they are.
Without question. I mean, Job, Hume's a prime example of someone who throws himself to every challenge, very, very physical, athletic, never picks up an injury, touch wood.
Yeah.
And yet others seem to be fragile in that respect.
Someone just said on the social media,
Achilles or whatever it might be.
a lot of the turnstiles aren't working properly. Could be a delayed kick-off.
Squads, okay, a prime example would be Liverpool when they won the league. The amount of players they used, they only lose, I think it was 14 players for the whole season. Now you look at squads and they've got near enough 30 odd players which they use. But then you may look at squads and you think there's certain players.
Someone's just posted on social media there could be a delayed kick-off because the turnstiles aren't working properly, letting some of the crowd in.
To play the whole season and they're never fatigued. So you look at maybe the likes of Luke O'Nien. He's not one who you're going to look at and thinking we're going to rest him, because that's not in his nature, that's not in his build-up, and that's not in the club's build-up, make-up, because you're thinking Luke O'Nien can do that. So you'll have the likes of Luke O'Nien who can do that. You'll have, the spoke about Dan
I got your message, Darth, thank you.
You talk about his mentality. He wants to play. If he picks up a knock, you're thinking, oh, hold on. But he wants to play every single game. But then you have other players, unfortunately, who have the slightest of knocks or feels the slightest of strains, and they're out.
Well, one who plays every game, Anthony Patterson, in goal.
He's been excellent.
I can't, but I'm not bothered.
People will look at about his distribution, but for shot stopping and the way he's come in and the way he's, shall we say, grabbed his opportunity, I think, there's a lot more to come out of Patterson. There's a lot more development to happen with Patterson, but you've got to say he's done really, really well.
There's 2.5 minutes to come out of Anthony Patterson. I spoke to him after the draw at Rotherham. Well, Pato, you knew it was going to be a tough game tonight.
Lots of football on the day, one
you've
after
come over
another.
the point. You must have been thinking the last 50 minutes it could have been all three.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said in the interview before, we just ran out of time in the end because we were really making Rotherham defend, and we were really unfortunate that we ran out of time in the end.
And you in the first half, a couple of times they got set pieces, 2 good saves from you, which kept you in it effectively until they did score what was a wonder goal in the end.
Yeah, we knew what their strengths were, and they were playing on set plays, and that's what they work on. And and I was thankfully there to stop them scoring in the first half.
Pleasing week for you, the clean sheet at Hull, and then the point here tonight, and you made instrumental saves there as well.
Yeah, I would say so. Obviously 2 away games, 2 difficult games in different ways, but I think to take 4 points from the 2 away games is good going, and we just need to back that up in New Year's Day.
It's consistency, isn't it? It's now just taking it forward week by week, and
Happy New Year.
Preston on Monday, and then that's a small issue of the weekend following that.
Yeah, of course.
Happy New Year, Jacob.
But no, the games come around quick and fast, and you pick up points really quickly.
And good Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year, man.
It affects the table position quite a lot, but we're happy with 4 points, but we must follow up on Monday.
There'll be a big crowd there obviously on Monday. Can you afford in any way to start thinking about the derby?
No, of course not. We've got obviously beat Preston on Monday first, and then we can switch our focus over to the other game, of course.
Is it very important that you do keep that focus for Monday's game?
Yeah, definitely, because you switch off from the game, or you focus on another game and you get stung, and which is obviously not what we want.
Is it any different, Michael Beale? I mean, he spoke about at half-time having words and trying to change things in the second half. Do you sense a change in the way that the coaching's being done with Michael arriving?
Yeah, obviously you've seen the reaction at the second half. We took control of the game a lot more.
Once you've had Mike Army, Happy New Year to you, mate.
Scored early on, but I think you've seen
East from South Yorkshire. Hope you're well.
Start to break.
Hope you had a good night last night.
Obviously, thankfully, we got an equaliser later on.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So the players out just shaking hands, peeling away. Sunderland in, well, tracksuit tops, not the red that they normally wear. They are red, but they've got orange sleeves, their tracksuit tops today. Will they peel those off to reveal their red and white stripes? Preston North End all in yellow this afternoon. Nice big bold blue numbers on the backs of their shirts. Both teams making 3 changes today. Patterson in goal for Sunderland. Hume, Ballard, O'Nien. Adji Elise makes his first start of the season. Neil and Ekwa. Now, whether it's Pritchard wide right or Roosin wide right, they both come in this afternoon, Job and Clark. Roosin's last appearance November the 25th at Plymouth. The bench is Bishop, Pembele, Burstow, Mayenda, Barr, Aushish, Sealt, Triantis and Rigg. And the players are just starting to form a circle around the centre circle, because we'll have that minute silence for all the fans and former staff and players who have passed away this year, last year, 2023. This celebration now, commemoration.
Get the mates in as well, eh? Nil-nil. I'm being optimistic.
And the names of all those who passed away last year scrolling up the big screens at either end, the north end and the Roker end of the Stadium of Light. Falling in love, and apparently it's Preston North End's song as well.
Preston North End.
So not only Hull and Preston here, of course, at Sunderland as well.
And who had the song first?
That's an interesting question. Interesting question. I'm not quite sure historically who had it first. It's Sunderland's anthem. That's who we regard as the owners, if you like, as Sunderland get the game
And Rosson is playing as a striker.
Roosin is up front as a number 9 in his short sleeves and gloves. As the ball comes out here on the right to Hume, just creeps out. Throw to Preston North End then, who are defending the Roker end in the first half, away to our right. And the throw taken by the Dane, Frosjar, Mads Frosjar. Lindsay at the edge of his penalty area to the goalkeeper, Freddie Woodman, the former Newcastle keeper, who's all in blue, light blue this afternoon for Preston, whose yellow shirts have a sort of black line down the front of them. But other than that, they are all in yellow. It's passed back again by Liam Lindsay to Woodman, and out to Jordan Storey, who's in for Jack Watmow this afternoon, and he's been forced to put the ball out by Job, who is playing left of Roosin at the moment, and Pritchard's to his right. And a throw again to Preston North End in these opening couple of minutes.
If anybody can just give us a thumbs up in the channel to see that you can hear me alright, and the commentary, everything's fine. Any problems, let me know, yeah.
To Lindsay, he's got Hughes out wide, but he's also got ahead of him Liam Miller, who's on loan from Basel. As Pritchard wins it, it's not fully cleared. Joe gets a foot to it. Clark in the penalty area shoots just past the right post, head in his hands, and Job as well. An early opportunity, only the second minute, opening up after Pritchard won that loose ball just outside the Preston penalty area.
Yeah, good interception by Hume, finding Pritchard, finding Job.
Radio Newcastle's about nearly a minute and a half ahead, so I'm trying to get this into it.
I think he should. He's tried to get a little bit of a bend on his curl. Not enough.
Didn't quite come off for him. So the goal kick is a hefty kick down the left wing, and it bounces over everybody's heads and out for a throw to Sunderland, halfway inside their half on the right, which is taken by O'Nien. Back to Patterson. O'Nien is playing on the left, Ballard is on the right this afternoon, and
you're a
he's
good
being
lad,
brought out by Dan Ballard. Ched Evans goes to close him down. It's played across to Elise. He plays it down the line looking for Clark. Whipping in is Brad Potts, and Potts forced back to the halfway line by Clark, who was all over him. Potts thought he's given the free kick. Potts appealed to the referee, Oliver Langford, the referee this afternoon, who was referee of Sunderland's 2-0 win.
Leighton Mills, happy afternoon, happy New Year to all. Same to you, Leighton. Are you sober today?
Previous August 2022, just before Alex Neil left. So 2 wins out.
What colour would you say Preston's playing in? Pale green or pale yellow? Or?
By Story, looking for Evans, drops to Hume in the middle, plays it back to Patterson, who, like Woodman, is his light blue, kicks out but straight down the middle to Ali McCann, and the Northern Ireland international getting it out wide on the wing, trying to get Alan Brown into play, and now Potts crosses, Ballard skips up off his right foot into the hands of Patterson. It looked a little uncomfortable. I'm not sure if it was.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a miscontrol, maybe, shall we say, from Ballard, but give him benefit of the doubt. He knew what he was doing.
Here's O'Nien breaking on the right to the halfway line, slides through the halfway line to get past Miller, to get the ball to Hume. Pritchard looking to get on the end of it. Preston have got it back. Here's Lindsay, who plays it inside to McCann, and then to Story in the D at the edge of the Preston penalty area to Liam Lindsay again. Down the left wing, Andrew Hughes. He's taken this on and played it out to Miller on the left-hand side, the former Liverpool midfielder. Gets into the penalty area, blocked by Hume, shot parried from just outside the penalty area from Whiteman. Good save by Patterson, probably more comfortable than it looked, and out to Potts on the right side, and eventually out for a throw to Sunderland. But it was a good strike by Whiteman.
Good strike, good save, nice height.
Yeah, it was a nice height.
Again, you know, it's on this left-hand side, or our right-hand side, and that's where Pritchard has got to do that defensive work. They've doubled up against Hume there, 2v1's played in for Miller.
Chances then at either end, and it's
good save by Pat.
Live on BBC Radio Newcastle, double bill. Of course, tonight we've got
New Year's resolution off the brew for a bit. Let's see that last. I reckon by the first goal, Preston scored.
The ball floats back here to Elise. Evans trying to get through between Ballard and Elise, but it's hooked away and hooked on by Dan Neil onto the head of Rustin, who tried to head it into the path of Clark, but across on that far side, it's played back by Jordan Story to Freddie Woodman to kick back up over the halfway line. Elise brings it down, Potts gets it in front of him, slips it inside to McCann, through eventually to Ched Evans, who plays out wide again on the far side. Alan Brown's cross. This should drop over the goal and behind for a goal kick. Craig Hignett is here for BBC Radio Lancashire, covering the game for them, and he's got to leave here today. And then
That's
go
football
to
on all day, isn't it? I mean, I think Sheffield Wednesday's on after this, and
tonight for Radio Merseyside,
and then another one, and then
he's a busy man, and he's going to have to be a lucky man with the traffic. I'm telling you.
All he's been asking is
how do I get out here quickly?
How do I get out quickly? There's no such thing as quickly.
There isn't. Good luck, Craig.
All the best.
Good luck, Higgy. Right, there's Dan Neil again in the middle of his own half. Looks for Job on the left here now, and wide is Clark. Potts in front of him. Clark taking on Brad Potts and trying to roll in Job to the goal line. An opportunity. Miller heads it down to Ekwa. Shoot, and it just swung wide left. Yeah. I think it could go wide, but it had a little bit more of a left tilt to it from Ekwa. Nonetheless, another opportunity.
Yeah, good play again by Jack Clark, creating that opening. Good ball in by Job, and that's where you want that out-and-out striker, don't you? You can come in and attack it. So it's 0-0 still, but we've had
spot on
2 half chances at one end for Sunderland, one for Preston at the other end. And here's a goal kick for Freddie Woodman of Preston, who have got Chelsea away in the FA Cup next Saturday. And we, of course, have got the derby building up from 11 o'clock next Saturday morning for the 12:45 kickoff.
It's next week.
It's next Saturday. Put it in your diary. Don't go anywhere. Here's O'Nien. Plays the ball back inside to Patterson. Ched Evans goes to close him down. Patterson gets the ball clear down the left, looking for Elise. Elise now knocking it on to Clark. Gets it on halfway on the left, but one back by Ali McCann. Pushes it out to Potts. And he's pushed it on now to Whiteman on that right-hand side. Ben Whiteman slipping it through to Potts in the penalty area, who's pulled it back, and Ekwa gets in front of Patterson to put it behind for a Preston corner.
A little bit of a concern, Nick, because a couple of times they've been able to get round the back of us, haven't they?
Yeah. Always got to be mindful of that, and mindful of set pieces, of course.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're right, there's a shaft of sunlight on that corner. We're in the 9th minute.
This is where they'll fancy their chances.
They will. They've put the big men up. Potts is on the goalkeeper. One back, just in front of the centre circles. The ball is swung in here, and it's finally cleared from the penalty spot by Ballard. Hooked it out, and now it's been hooked back in again, and Patterson catches it above Ballard. Bowls it out quickly here on the right-hand side. Clark now. He's got to get... Well, Pritchard's got to come back onside, but the ball's just knocked out for a throw on the right here for Sunderland, halfway inside the Preston half. Pritchard's going to leave this for Hume to take on this right-hand side. 0-0, nearly 9 minutes played. Hume to Ekwa, back to Hume, inside to Pritchard, back to Ekwa. Ekwa now across on the other side. Elise inside the Preston half, brings it down. He's got Job looking to make a run, but it's come back to Neil. Squares it to Ekwa. Ekwa just in front of the centre circle, right through the middle to Pritchard. Pritchard looks to shoot. Oh, what a goal! Alex Pritchard, 10th minute, 25 yards, and Sunderland lead 1-0. That's a scorcher from Alex Pritchard.
What a goal. What a strike. And we all know that he's got that in his locker, but it's good build-up play, great pass by Ekwa to find him out, and it was all down to Pritchard and what he does. But what a strike.
What a way to open your account this season. 25 yards out, a rocket beyond Woodman, left him no chance, and Sunderland lead. Perfect start to 2024.
Great strike.
Super strike.
We don't see enough of that, do we?
No, and that's what
you get your midfield players. You know, we pass, and we keep saying, don't we, about pulling the trigger.
Get in there.
You know, and a prime example of that was when we played.
Some coach, isn't he, Bale? So chuffed to bits we got him, like.
How many opportunities we had, yet we didn't score. They had 2 opportunities.
I missed the goal. I was pulling down to pull my sock up.
Super finishes both outside the penalty area. Sunderland 1, Preston North End 0. Alex Pritchard.
I was pulling my sock up. I missed the goal.
I say opening goal, and the anticipation there will be more. It's a throw to Sunderland on the far side, in the left wing. Elise waiting to take it in his own half, and stabbed away by Story onto the halfway line to Ali McCann. Puts it out, another Sunderland throw. So 1 up in the 11th minute.
What a goal this was,
who's had such an influence since he came back into the team following the departure of Tony Mowbray, assists and now a goal.
And we all know what he brings to the table.
Exactly.
He's a good player.
Is that not a hint to start him?
As Brown heads it on, trying to get down the right of the Sunderland penalty area. Ballard battling with him, finally cleared, and Rusin looking to break, headed away by Lindsay, out wide, tap back to Story, and he's dropped it over the top, but O'Nien will deal with this, despite being chased.
This isn't a message to the
18-yard line.
Coach to start Pritchie Witchy.
Away, up to Ekwa on the right wing, and it's put out on the left by Hughes.
Yeah.
It's been at,
Happy New Year, Derek. Pitches class, wishing to score.
Preston some years now. Andrew
Goals
Hughes
of
since
BD.
Peterborough in 2018. Ekwa on the right from Hume's throw. O'Nien back to Patterson, and it's pushed out to Ballard. Ballard will play it wide to Elise, down the line to Clark, and all the way back for Elise to chase, with Ballard trying to block the run of Evans, which he's done. Evans tumbles over, doesn't complain. The ball's played back by Elise to Patterson, and out to O'Nien. Forwards to Pritchard, wide to Hume. Hume just calmly pulls it down and away from Liam Miller, the 24-year-old Canadian international on loan from Basel, who began his career at Fulham, moved to Liverpool. And it's back with Patterson.
Hope to God it's a farewell
pushing
goal.
It out to the edge of the penalty area to Ballard, across to O'Nien. O'Nien has to be aware he's being squeezed here by Mads Frockier. He gets it back to Patterson to clear down the right
Put some
wing.
vinegar in your gravy, it's lovely.
Goes up over Andrew Hughes, lands flat on his back. That must have been quite painful actually, and picks himself up. Whiteman has the ball for Preston.
We had a lovely buffet last night at our neighbours. Absolutely everything on there.
14th minute here at the Stadium of Light, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ball swung across to the right wing by Lindsay. Potts plays it back to Story from halfway, and he's being closed down by Jobs. He's played it back to the goalkeeper, who passes it out to McCann. Out again wide to Brad Potts, and he plays it through, looking to try and get Frockier forwards, but a foul for a free kick to Sunderland.
Still a lot of coughs and colds in our house, like it was slowly on the mend.
Pulled it back, Oliver Langford into the Sunderland half of this free kick. Brad Potts started his career at Carlisle, born in Hexham, of course. We remember him well at Barnsley, from whom Preston signed him. He was pulling up trees then, and has been at Preston since 2019.
Derek says, having a feeling we will score a few today.
That was a good one, wasn't you? Potts.
Yeah, I do as well with my prediction, yeah.
It's a new year. Start as we mean to go on.
Okay.
Bad jokes. Here's Clark into the centre circle. Ekwa didn't go for it. It reached O'Nien, but he was caught by Miller, who's pleading innocence here. But the referee's... Well, O'Nien took the free kick. Oliver Langford's blown, not happy.
You can tell.
Taken quickly, and
that's petty referee.
It was. I mean, there was nothing to prevent that ball staying in play. It's come back now from Hume to Ekwa into his own half, tracking it into the centre to Dan Ballard. Ballard then through. Good ball to Job. He's got Clark wide. Job continues his run. Clark looks up to play it into the middle to Neil. Neil closed down by Frockier, but he's played it to Ekwa here. And Ekwa to Pritchard in the centre. Quick ball to Neil, to Rusin. Tried to get it back to Neil, but Potts cuts it out and plays it back to the goalkeeper, who kicks it up to the halfway line. Ballard's got his eye on it, brings it down. Evans cuts across to give chase to Ballard, but he's got away from him, gets it to Elise. Elise now into the middle to Job. Job twists away from 1-2 challenges effectively, brings it across the middle.
We look a well organised side today, Mike. The build-up looks really good from Sunderland.
The corner of the penalty area, trying to take on Miller, out to the touchline, leaves it for Pritchard just behind him, and Pritchard slips it inside to Hume. It's not the best of passes forwards, and McCann cuts it out, plays it forwards on the left of midfield. Frockier back to Hughes, then Lindsay to the goalkeeper. He kicks up towards Frockier, gets his head on it, drops for Hume on halfway. He plays it behind him to O'Nien, and O'Nien tapping it forward to Ekwa, back to O'Nien, now to Ekwa again on this right-hand side, and down that right wing. Hume running onto this, just keeping it in. Miller's gone with him, he crosses, it's headed out by Lindsay into midfield, and then eventually to Miller on this left-hand side, back to McCann, and then to Story at the edge of the Preston penalty area. In the 17th minute, Sunderland lead 1-0. Alex Pritchard's goal after 10 minutes.
See what happens when we go down the middle of the park, rather than using the wings constantly.
He plays it out to Lindsay.
I tell you what, the roof will explode if Russian gets a goal, like.
And then back inside to Whiteman. And we talk about relative ages of teams. The back four for Preston. Brad Potts is 29. Here's Pritchard. He's on the break again, looking for Clark. It's going to be headed out by Story, who's 26. Lindsay is 28, and Hughes is 31. Compared to the relative age of the
who needs Roberts?
Back four. as the ball wrestled by Clark off Potts, back here to Story. He plays it to Lindsay, and he plays it out wide to Hughes, almost on the halfway line, then into the Sunderland half to Miller, back to Hughes, through to Evans, who plays it back from halfway to Lindsay, inside
and it's on Sky as well.
Ben Whiteman, then to Story, and across to Potts on the halfway line, on the touchline on the right, just in his own half still, plays it behind him to Story, and Story now to Lindsay. Story.
Remember when I was about
as they play it across the back
15-year-old New Year's Day, I went to Hull City first game.
Miller, headed away
from home in the New Year's Day, Hull City, Boothfully Park. I was absolutely knackered.
On the right of his own midfield back.
We got B3
Dan Ballard in the centre and across to Elise on the far side. Elise in the middle to Dan Neil. Neil looking.
It was really funny because
squares it
the
right
stadium announcer at Boothfully Park at the time could not pronounce Ruben Agboula's name properly.
On halfway, leaves it for Equa.
It was hilarious, and all the Sunderland fans were like just peeing themselves laughing.
Back to Equa. Pritchard ahead of him. Skips round Hughes. Then it's played back by Rusin to Equa. Rusin's call for the ball to be played through down the right. It comes to Pritchard. Pritchard on the right. It crosses, but it comes off Hughes behind for a corner. Sunderland's first corner.
Yeah, Rusin is playing high up, Derek. He certainly is, mate.
Between Equa and Pritchard.
And Rusin looking to make those runs, pointing to where he wants the ball played down the channels.
Well, what he's been able to do, he's been able to occupy the two centre-backs, hasn't he? And they're giving us something to think about, and Pritchard is drifting in midfield and making that extra man.
So Pritchard with this corner on the right at the Roker end, short to Clark. Clark taking on the defender, Brochard. Pritchard crosses, headed in the air, the keeper will call, catches this comfortably, Freddie Woodman, and looks for Miller down the left wing. Takes it on his chest, Equa's behind him, taps it behind to Maz Frocchia, and the Dane comes all the way back into his own half, leaves it for Hughes into the middle to Lindsay, and then Story to his right. Sunderland leading 1-0.
Wasn't the West Brom game on Sky as well?
At the start of play this lunchtime.
So this could be the third consecutive game on Sky we have won if this stays the same or more.
Neil in the centre circle on halfway, taps it left to Elise. Elise wide again.
I was there. Were you there, Derek? Were you? Boothfully Park.
McCann's on his case, wins the ball back, pokes it to Potts. Potts gets it through to Evans, blocked by O'Nien. Good tackle on halfway with Equa, and Equa leaves it for Neil.
I'm going 41,401
again. Back to Dan Neil, and Neil just holding it for a moment, playing it back to Luke O'Nien in the middle, across to Ballard on the right here, and Ballard bringing this up to halfway.
We're man.
Hume, poor pass behind Pritchard, out for a throw to Preston in their half, down from Ryan Lowe, manager, 45-year-old since December 2021 when he left Plymouth Argyle. Hughes with the throw back to Lindsay. Lindsay back to Woodman. To Story, closed down by Job. Story kicks up to halfway. Brown tried to flick it inside, but Elise got it and gets it to Clark. Clark now trying to build on this with a long shot. 20 odd yards out, straight at the goalkeeper though, really.
Unlucky. The palm is in.
Yep. It was so funny when they couldn't pronounce it.
Ruled it out, would you?
Yeah.
1-0 still.
A lot of confidence.
Yeah. 22nd minute. Almost a quarter of the
way
weak
shot
through the game. Sunderland leading.
So is Ruben Agboula a hard name to pronounce? Because the stadium announcer tried it 3 times and the Sunderland substitute is Ruben Agboula, and in the end he just went Ruben A, and everybody just laughed behind the ball. It was hilarious.
Down to Nyan, headed on by Elise again, and it drops for Whiteman though, Preston in their yellow. Pritchard coming back to defend, but Equa's coming for the ball. He's found Job to his left. Job almost up to halfway, Whiteman in front of him. Job turns and plays it back to Elise. He plays it back again to O'Nien at the edge of the penalty area. Through the middle to Equa. Equa now just behind the centre circle, squares it right to Ballard. Ballard bringing this on, down the right, Hume ahead of him. Here's Hume on the touchline, back off Miller for
out. Preston throw.
I think it's a Preston throw, yeah. And this just a few yards down from Or in fact, in the end, it's going to be taken from in front of Ryan Lowe, who strides back towards his dugout. Hughes with the throw is poked away from Evans by O'Nien's outstretched right foot, and Rusyn's gone down, caught on the shin by Hughes. Free kick to...
Can you just ban him, please, Jacob?
On the right, Rusyn with a great smear of mud down his back. Gets up, strolls away.
We've gone...
It's a big crowd today.
I know, 22 minutes without him mentioning, you have to bring it up.
Stand. There'll be a few who've had a heavy night.
Yes.
And they didn't make it in the end.
Again, the kick-off didn't help, did it?
It doesn't, does it? I mean, I don't know what time the Preston fans would have set off, but it's not great.
No.
Here's Neil
Final answer.
halfway,
And I'm not even going to phone a friend on that
to
one.
Elise, and back again to Dan Neil. Neil.
Fuck, because I haven't got any.
Hassled by Ben Whiteman, but Neil turns away from him. Whiteman sticks with him. Neil's still got it, puts it forwards to Ekwa. Now to Pritchard. Pritchard, he's got it through to Rusyn. Rusyn back to Pritchard. And Pritchard's going to shoot again, but this time it's back. Oh, it's spilled by the keeper. Didn't have the same power, and it was straight at Woodman, but he still fumbled it.
He has to make the save.
Yep.
We are controlling this now, says Derek.
Will maybe possibly unnerve him a bit. Hughes.
23 minutes, lads and lasses, what's your thoughts?
Battles with Neil. It breaks, though, here for McCann. McCann back to Hughes. Into the middle again to Whiteman, from a Manchester United trainee, and he's got the ball out wide now to Brad Potts. Potts closed down by Clark, crosses in towards Brown. He tried to flick it through. It comes to Frockyar, who volleys it over the bar for a goal kick to Sunderland, who still lead 1-0 in the 24th minute. And we're live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
Yeah, I think one thing which, you know, we can highlight from this, you know, to the first 25 minutes of the game, Nick, is that we've burnt the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's had something to do. How many times have we said the goalkeeper has had nothing to do?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Need a second though, can't sit back on one goal.
As well. I know that's always, you know, there's never take that for granted. They will have to work. They need the second. Here's Ekwa, back to O'Nien. His route back to goal cut out by Evans, but then he neatly turns round again and bypasses Evans back to Patterson. Gets the ball out to Ballard, who pushes it out to Job. Tackled by McCann, but it rolls to Elise, back to Ballard. Ballard across here to Luke O'Nien on this right wing with Hume. He's played it down the right wing, looking for Rusyn's run, but sliding in was Lindsay. Gets it out to Hughes on the left touchline, and he plays it through now to Evans on halfway. Trying to get it off him is Ballard. Evans comes back into his own half, plays it back into the middle to Story.
56% possession, says Gordon Seymour for Sunderland at the minute.
On this left-hand side, and the Scotsman.
Not much in it, really.
Miller on the left wing, the Canadian back to Woodman, just outside his penalty area. Pushes it to Story. Story, right side of his own midfield. Forwards to Alan Brown. Alan Brown back to Lindsay, and Lindsay now to Story. As Preston look to build from the back through Brown again, back to Jordan Story, across to Liam Lindsay, and he will play it wide left again to Andrew Hughes. And Hughes pushing it on now for Evans. Ekwa goes with him. He plays it back to Brown in the centre circle. McCann to his left. Whiteman now to Story, and Story forward to Potts. Potts back to Story, and at the moment Preston finding it difficult to find a way through Sunderland's lines of red and white. Down the left wing again, Liam Miller looking for Frockyar, tries to get the ball through the middle. Elise gets a foot in, drops for Brown, Whiteman, and then back from Frockyar to McCann. McCann out to Miller.
Derek.
Goes round Hume. Liam Miller is taking on O'Nien now into the penalty area, on the corner of the penalty box. He's got Hume in front of him, taking him on onto his left foot to try and pull it back. Hume blocks it for a corner.
Lively, isn't he, Miller?
He is 24 years old, as I say, on loan from Basel. He's had spells at Kilmarnock and
I'll take that.
When he was at Liverpool, but signed for Basel in 2021 after a couple of years at Liverpool, making it in the first team there. And here's the corner on the left-hand side for Preston at the north end. It floats in. It's headed to the back of the penalty area. Clark tried to win it, but it's won back by Preston, put back in. Whiteman with his back to goal, stabs it to Miller. Miller's shot blocked by...
Come on, Sunderland, clear your lines.
Lucien trying to get away, but won back by Preston and played to Whiteman on the left side of the penalty area. Closed down by Ekwa, inside to Miller, off Ballard on the penalty spot. Frockyard.
Come on, the what? They're knocking on the door, here.
Over the bar from the Dane.
Yeah, we struggled.
Don't.
Still 1-0 to Sunderland in the 28th minute.
Absolutely, Jacob. Too right. Good point. Very good point.
For the goal kick. Out to O'Nien on this right side. Through to Ekwa in the middle, then to Dan Neil. Neil back to Ballard.
I was getting a feeling Sunderland are just relaxing a little bit too much here.
And then down the left wing out for a throw to Preston in their own half.
It's flat the game, hasn't it?
It's gone a bit flat, hasn't it?
Lost
After sort of lively start, a bit of fizz at the start, first 15 minutes. Now got, as you say, needs a bit of a lift again. And that could come from Clark, wide on the left-hand side, taking on Potts inside in the middle to Pritchard. Tackled though by Hughes in the middle, but won back by Elise. Finally rolls out for a throw to Sunderland.
Maybe Bale will be a decent coach after all. Time will tell.
Played through by Clark. Tried to play
but at the moment, Sunderland are doing quite a few sloppy passes going forward.
Preston in their yellow, looking for Evans. Rolls past him despite a challenge by Ballard, which has caught Evans. And the referee's given a free kick to Preston.
And Evans is caught 0-9, but he's given the first foul, hasn't he?
He's already given the foul to Preston. Ali McCann hauls Evans to his feet. Ballard, O'Nien's still down though. Sitting up now. He'll pick himself up. Has a word with Oliver Langford. We're in the 30th minute, 1-0 to Sunderland. Away from home, Preston have won 4, drawn 3 and lost 5. Their recent form seen lose at home 5-1 to Watford, 2-1 at Swansea, but then they beat Leeds 2-1, only to lose at home on Friday night to Sheffield Wednesday 1-0. Here's the free kick, floated up to the corner of the penalty area. O'Nien knocks it down, Jobe clears it. Lucien looking for it, beaten in the air though by McCann. Down the left wing, Miller. It's stumped out in front of him by O'Nien. A throw to Preston a few yards from the.
Would you have Gooch back
on the left-hand side?
Because there's rumours having it that he wants to come back in January.
McCann comes across here on the left side, the Northern Ireland international back
that's
to
gone.
Hughes, the flag up, throw to Sunderland on the right-hand side. Hume.
I bet you Gooch comes back in January.
Will take the throw now. Ekwa or Pritchard or possibly O'Nien.
I bet your vinegar sandwich he does.
Not many options. Ekwa makes a run, gets in front of Frockyard, back to Hume, gives the ball away though to Hughes, one back by Neil. A tangle from between Jobe and Lindsay. Neil's still going. It effectively took Jobe out of the game for a moment, but now Neil gets back up on his feet and one here by Preston. Miller. Lucien in front of
California
him.
Messi.
He's trying to get the ball off Liam Miller, but Miller comes away with it down the left. Then Hume just stands in front and makes the block. Ryan Lowe's furious at the corner of his technical area. Evans has won it back, plays it back behind him here to Hughes, and Hughes into the centre to Whiteman. And Whiteman looking for the run of Evans, and it's headed back by O'Nien, and has kept. No, it just slid out. Preston trying to keep the ball in play, but slides over the goal line for another corner to
Gooch
Preston.
in, Bar out. We could do a swap for Gooch for Bar, couldn't we?
Yeah, this looks as though it's going to be taken down on this left-hand side. Slowly, Preston's players making their way up into the penalty area. Ben
I can sniff a goal for Preston coming soon.
Left-hand side. In the 32nd minute here, and Whiteman whips this into the 6-yard box, punched out by Patterson, picked up by Brown, hooked back over his head. Neil hooks it away. It's a chase out. McCann will play it back to Woodman. Clark continues his sprint. Woodman's under pressure, but kicks back up into the Sunderland half, and Evans goes up with Neil. It comes down for Elise into the centre circle. Frockyar out to Miller.
Preston looking the better side at the moment, like.
Side. Hume just in front of him. Miller down the left of the penalty area. Puts his foot on the ball, comes back, plays it back behind him to Frockyar. Down the left again to Miller. And Miller looks to try and get the ball in, but Rusin's in the way, so he plays it back behind him to Hughes, back to Frockyar, gets the ball in the box, it's cleared again, comes out to Hughes, who nods it down in the middle to McCann. McCann out left to Frockyar.
Sense of frustration in the crowd here, like, we need to get out of the ball.
Brown, but one back by Equa to Hume, and back to Patterson to clear. Hangs in the air a minute, up towards halfway. Rusin and Pritchard both with their eyes on it. Hughes heads it forward, straight to Dan Neil. Neil leaves it now for Jove in the centre circle. Away he goes to the left and into the Preston half. Plays it back inside to Dan Neil. Neil looking to his left to Elise. Back to Neil. Neil.
My apologies for being negative if anybody's offended.
Neil to Equa again in the centre circle, then to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien down the right wing to Pritchard. O'Nien carries on his run. It's come back to Equa here on the right side of midfield, just inside the Preston half. He leaves it for Hume just ahead of him, back to Equa, and then into the centre circle to Neil. Neil to Equa again, then to Hume on this right side. Hume
I'd play
back to
good
Equa.
wide cover for
Equa
Roberts if he stays.
On halfway, looking to bring this forwards, trying to find Pritchard, out to Hume on the touchline, and Hume cutting inside, plays it back to Ballard in the centre circle. And he plays it across to Elise on halfway, and Elise back to Dan Neil. Neil back behind him, Ballard. Ballard to Neil again. Neil to Equa, and he's in the centre circle to Pritchard back. Well, a bit of work to do to run back onto this for O'Nien. Forwards to Equa. Equa to O'Nien again, and into the middle to Ballard. Ballard bringing this forwards again for Sunderland, and out to Elise wide on the left. In his own half still, plays it back inside to Ballard. Sunderland leading 1-0 in the 35th minute. Looking for Clark, nodded down by Potts. Picked up on halfway by Frockyar, played to Potts into Evans in the middle, trying to get it through for Alan Brown to run on to, but it's cleared by Neil. Up to the centre circle again. Hughes gets it away from Rusin. Out to the left, Frockyar, now Miller. Frockyar's carried on his run into the penalty area. Miller plays it back here now to Hughes. And Hughes plays it down the left, down the touchline again, and Equa wins it this time, and it's stabbed out. And Equa's fouled as well at the same time by Frockyar for a free kick on the right, on the touchline, halfway inside their own half, Sunderland. A reminder tonight with full commentary of Liverpool versus Newcastle. That's
Can't see the club taking Gucci back.
It'd
be an ambition that they should have kept
live
him.
on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ahead of the big one next weekend.
So there's another game on, League One derby against Peterborough, and that's today, 2:45 kick-off on Sky.
Derby. There's the ball here.
And then Sheffield Wednesday v Hull.
Neil who's going to try and come away with
two teams that we both
two
beat.
challenges, and Neil still has it. Finds Pritchard down the right, almost the corner of the penalty area. Into the penalty area he goes, low ball in, cleared by Whiteman for a throw, 10 yards from the corner on the right. And that was set up by Dan Neil, getting the ball in the middle.
No, just looking at Jack Clark, he's just had a word with Dan Neil. He could have put the ball left. He's made a great run, Jack Clark.
Hume will take the
second goal.
throw.
Come on.
Couple of good driving runs there by Dan Neil.
Yeah. Pritchard back to Hume. Pritchard again finding Hume on the right. Hume into the penalty area, tries a low cross, blocked by Miller. Comes back out to Hume, behind him is Pritchard, he rolls it back to Equa. Equa coming back to the halfway line, and Ballard in the centre circle. And the ball played out to the left now, Elise looking for Clark. Clark lets it run through, Jobe on that far side, and Jobe plays it back, behind him is Clark. Clark now cutting inside, plays it through the centre circle to O'Nien. Equa has to chase for this, Miller's got there first, and it's played by Frockyar back to Dan Neil, and Evans beaten to it by Ballard. Patterson out to Elise. Elise down the left again for Clark.
Fleetwood's appointed Charlie Adam as manager.
By Potts. Clark cuts inside, cuts across the middle. Potts goes with him, but he rolls it out to O'Nien here on this right hand side, O'Nien brings it over halfway, down the right-hand side, Pritchard making a run. Rusin's in the middle, Hume out wide on this right-hand side, into Pritchard now, edge of the penalty area, into the penalty area, nice shot on the right foot, but just swung round the post. Pritchard's frustrated, it's a goal kick.
Good play.
Sunderland leading, 1-0 still, in the 38th minute.
That was a corner, that like.
Ball back with Freddie
Let's have a
Woodman, the Preston goalkeeper.
Oh, maybe not.
Since 2022, after a loan at Bournemouth, former Newcastle keeper.
Thoughts on 37 minutes, and lads and lasses, I
All
were
the
comfortable and quite happy.
players drifting across to this near side on halfway. Woodman's kick floats down the left, and it's kept in by Miller, sweeps it into the middle, looking for the run of Alan Brown, but then from Whiteman out to Potts, closed down by Elise, who makes a block. Potts still has possession though. It came off the left foot of Elise, back to Story in his own half, cross to Lindsay, and now to Hughes on this left-hand side, and on the halfway line, Hughes, foot on it, finds Brockyard inside to Evans, tackled by Neil. Now Rusin from Pritchard, Rusin making a run, oh he's blocked, and that's surely a yellow card for Lindsay. It is. That was almost a left arm block on Rusin as he made the breakthrough.
Excellent, positive.
Because he was probably through then. First card of the afternoon.
Nice by Rusin, that like.
Cynical challenge from Lindsay. Knew exactly what he was doing and knew he was going to get a card for it.
Yeah.
But prepared to take one, as they say, for the team. His team trailing 1-0. Ekwah and Pritchard and O'Nien's come up for a conversation. Throwing his hat in the ring. Oliver Langford, all in black, marching back and spraying in front of Miller and Frockier, I think. It's about 30 yards out, the free kick. Can you see them having a pop from here? Too far.
Too far.
40th minute. And Ekwah stands with his hands on his hips. Pritchard just to his left. He steps back a couple of yards. And the line just outside the penalty area of defenders. Pritchard, right arm raised briefly, then comes in with his right, hooks it into the penalty area. It's headed away towards the right-hand side. Potts trying to push it past Jobe, who blocks it. Gets it now, Jobe, trying to shake off Potts out on the touchline. And Jobe coming back, playing it back.
That's well played by George Bellingham there, man.
And back again.
Very well played by Bellingham there.
Line, and inside to Ekwah in the centre circle, back out to the left to Clark. And he's given the ball straight to Alan Brown. Jobe trying to win it back, and Brown's trying to find Whiteman, but in slides Elise. Back it comes down the Preston right. Potts plays it back in to the centre and out to the left to Hughes, and Hughes now trying to swing it back out to the right. Evans goes down on the shoulder of Elise. He's clutching his face. Play's gone on. Evans still down, sitting up. Hughes plays it out to the right side to Potts, down the touchline. Evans just getting himself up to his feet, and the ball is on halfway with Preston North End. Eventually back from Story to Woodman in the 41st minute. He swings it out wide to Potts on the right wing, and Potts now, Clark just in front of him, back to Story, across to Lindsay here, and Lindsay looking to play it to Hughes, who plays it back to the goalkeeper, and out again to Story on the right side in this final 5 minutes of the 45. Sunderland still leading 1-0 as they've done from the 10th minute. Story again.
Lucas, I'm here after watching the Netflix series. All the best for you, Sunderland. Thank you very much indeed. Gordon Seymour 1-0 okay, but like another before half time.
Back to Lindsay. Lindsay to Story. Out to Potts again on the touchline on the right. He's trying to get over the halfway line. Clark going with him, and he's played it into McCann in the centre circle. Hughes on halfway still, and he's looking.
Any changes at half time? I'll keep it the same.
Who plays it out wide, looking for Brown, headed away by Elise for a throw to Preston. On the right, the foot of the east stand. Little quarter of that stand in sunshine.
Someone said, do you think Clark needs a rest before the game against the Mags? Should we take him off a bit earlier today? There's no other game between now and Newcastle, is there?
To Miller, and it's blocked by Hume. Another throw for Preston North End, wide. On the left here, well, obviously wide. The throw taken by Hughes, back to Miller. Back again to Lindsay in his own half, and Story in the centre circle. Out to Potts again, wide on the right. Whiteman's made a run down the right, but it's come back to Story here, and closed down by Jobe. Lindsay trying to get, he's given it straight to Pritchard, but it came off him for McCann to pick up. And out to Hughes on the left-hand side, down the line, trying to get the ball forward to Frockyar. He plays it back into the centre to Lindsay, who's booed every time he touches the ball now after that.
Well, it's all Preston, but it's deep in their own half. They're not doing anything with it. Sunderland just happy to sit back and say, well, carry on.
On halfway, looking for Evans. O'Nien trying to kick the ball away from him. Evans manages to stab it back to McCann in the centre circle. Forwards to Frockyar again, looking for Miller, and he gets it out wide left now to Hughes. Miller comes wide. It's gone back inside to Frockyar. Now it's out to Miller on the left touchline, and Miller taking this on. Shock of blonde hair, goes past Pritchard, tries to cross, it's hanging in the air, but Patterson will...
Must have strung about 40 or 50 passes together there, Preston. Come on!
Clark with Royston ahead of him on the right side of the centre circle. He's nearly tripped, now trying to go past Story. Advantage played by the referee. Story with Clark taking him on into the penalty area, putting it back for Royston.
Get in! Russian's got the goal. Get in!
Sunderland is the headline.
Get in! Ant, watch your screen, Ant. Watch your screen.
Stabs the ball.
Get in.
Clark's
Ant, watch your screen, son.
And Rusin just flicked it under the goalkeeper.
Finally, but what great play again by Jack Clark. He could easily have gone down.
Oh, I'm so pleased for the lad.
Played the advantage. Yeah. But again, Rusin. Again, that's what we've been looking for.
Someone in the right place.
Clark was immense here, like.
Got his foot to it. Well-deserved goal.
What a lovely cheeky goal that, like. Get in.
He was almost tripped initially. The referee played the advantage. Clark got in round.
Yeah, this is the difference, you see.
Rusin, who'd made that run right through the middle, just to flick it under Woodman to double Sunderland's lead as we head into half-time. Sunderland 2, Preston North End 0.
And remember what we spoke about at the start of the programme in regards of Rusin, and I said...
That's a massive point that you just mentioned there, Ant, the mark on there, lad. See what happens when you got a striker in there, or someone up front?
He'll get on to the end of things, Rusin. And that's what's happened.
2 minutes of added time at the end of this first 45. Sunderland double their lead on the break. Very satisfying goal.
Beforehand, Clark would have had to cut back inside and try and have a shot there because there was no options. But what a difference!
Upfield, Patterson was sharp, getting the ball out to Clark.
Yeah, great break.
And we are in added time. We've got about a minute and a half of the 2 minutes left. So finally, for the first time since April, a striker at Sunderland gets a goal. It's Nazari Rusin.
First off many.
And here's Jobe trying to get in down the left of the penalty area. It's in the air as he's challenged. It's going to break for a throw to Sunderland. 12 yards.
Stadium are like making a lot of noise now. They said Sunderland can get a third before half time. There's only a minute left though.
And Clark leaves the throw for Elise. The referee's got his hand up to his watch, hurrying Sunderland along here. Elise finds Neil. Neil is challenged by McCann, and then Elise wins it back from Brown. Behind him is Clark. Clark plays it back on halfway to O'Nien, and O'Nien now just flicking it back to Hume, and Hume back to Patterson, who's outside his penalty area. 30 seconds left if he plays the minimum 2 minutes.
Don't fuck about that, though.
And Patterson flicks it to Ekwa to Neil, then to Ballard, and Ballard just rolls it away from Whiteman back to Patterson. Cross here to Ekwa on the right, the corner of the penalty area. No need to do anything silly here. Ekwa now with seconds left of this first half. Ekwa just turns and it's put out off the boot of Procchia for a throw on the right. That's the minimum 2 minutes played. The referee glances at his watch.
Happy with a point, lads? Happy with a point?
Not even time to take the throw. Sunderland go in then, leading 2-0 at the break, and I think it's a well-deserved 2-0 lead. They've enjoyed the bulk of possession. I mean, Preston
would be happy with a point now full time, lad?
But they've not really got in behind Sunderland. But Sunderland just look a little bit sharper now with Rusin up front.
Yeah, and you've got to look at the changes as well, Nick. You know, and again, you know, Pritchard's played his part, fantastic goal, and again, Rusin, he has looked busy. You know what he's going to bring to the team. He's going to chase. But again, that's what you're looking for when the ball goes in that 18-yard.
I heard you nearly regurgitate your Sunday dinner there when that second goal went in.
Deserved his goal. But overall, I think, you know, what we've talked about, especially with Jack Clark on the left and there's no Roberts on the right, there's no player actually going inside, and it's given the striker a little bit more to, shall we say, form that partnership.
Right, I'm just going for a cup of tea.
And that's what's happened, and he's got his rewards.
It'll give Rusin doing the power of good.
Well, I can do the socials now if you want before I go.
The power of good. Confidence, because they know now that they can put the ball in the box, and
back in 2 minutes.
We've got somebody who's going to actually get on the end of things. At times, we've had nobody in the box. You've been relying on the likes of Patrick Roberts to do something special. You're relying on the likes of Jack Clark to do something special and finish. Now, what you can do, get to the byline, put it in the box. You know, you've got Rusin who's going to obviously make them run, and hopefully you've got the likes of maybe Bellingham or Ekwa or somebody else coming from midfield to get in the box. And that's I think the biggest issue which we've got. The more players we get in the box, the more opportunities, chances we've got of scoring.
And it's stretching Preston, it's making them think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's not always to the feet. We can stretch him. You know, Rusin's making them runs into the channels, stretching them, and that's all of a sudden it's given the two centre-backs, which we spoke about before, he's occupying them two centre-backs.
So Pritchard and Rusin have given Sunderland the lead. We've got the full second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and SAFC.com. At the interval, it is Sunderland 2, Preston North End 0.
There's that feeling you get when you find your keys down the back of the sofa.
Oh, yeah.
There's that feeling you get when you find a fiver in your coat pocket.
Yes.
And there's that feeling you get when you win a pair of tickets to see Newcastle and Sunderland play at home.
Get in! Get in! I'm over the moon! I'm over the moon! I'm over the moon! Get in!
To win, listen out for the referee's whistle during weekday breakfast with me, Matt Bailey.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
BBC Radio Newcastle, making a difference in the North East.
What a brother.
Sunderland 2, Preston 0 at half-time. A happy New Year's Day so far. Alex Pritchard and Nasiri Rusin with Sunderland's 2 goals. We'll be back with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett very shortly for full commentary of the second half. No other early games at all today. Lots of EFL games at 3 o'clock and 7 games in the National League, including Gateshead going to York City. The same two sides drew 1-1 at the International Stadium on Boxing Day, and the Heed manager Rob Elliott says there are things to improve on.
The boys have been really good. I think we took a lot of positives from the game, obviously, in terms of the way we played and dominated. Obviously, it's quite clear that we just need to make sure we a bit more ruthless, up our percentages in terms of getting the ball in the box, getting opportunities on the goal, making sure we nullify and then limit their counter-attacks. But yeah, no, it's a good game. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, got a very experienced manager, good manager, a huge club with a huge budget. So now they've got lots of different solutions, and yeah, it's going to be tough for us. You know, we're down to the bare bones, unfortunately. Hopefully, we'll have enough for a bench, but we'll have to manage that. But you know, I think it's a great opportunity for us to show our resilience and, you know, show that sort of what we're about in terms of all the adversity that we have to go through. We'll just, you know, take it in our stride. It just makes us a little bit better. We stick to our principles. We stick to exactly who we are as a club. You know, this is a foundation that's been built over a long period of time. We can't come away from that, because if we do, we weaken ourselves. So, but yeah, no, obviously Neil, I really enjoyed our chat with him. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a very good manager. I was able to lean on him for a bit of on his experience on a certain aspect. So look, we've just got to be able to deal with whatever York decide to do. You know, we've always been of the mindset that we concentrate on us and we concentrate on how we can get better. And you know, we'll obviously have a plan if they go with 2 up top, if they stay with 1, if they go with 3. Obviously, they have the luxury of having, you know, some real strong attacking options, and we have to respect that. But ultimately, yeah, we'll always concentrate on ourselves and we'll always work on how we can improve from the last game, and that's exactly what we're hoping to do on New Year's Day. but we've got some good young lads that come off the bench as well. You know, lads that have come in and done well, sort of under the radar. You know, Will Constantine, Lucas Lowry, obviously got Jordan Hunter, Karen Lofthouse on the right, Luke Hannon, Billy, Marcus. So we've got quality in abundance there, and you know we'll back them in every single scenario. And you know, like a bit like with Connor Panny last year when he come into the squad and the team. You know, like these young players are players that we identified to hopefully get into the first team and affect it. And yeah, I think it's not ideal with the injuries we've got. We've been really unfortunate with long-term injuries to key players. But what I think's been the most sort of pleasing thing is that, you know, whether it's players that we brought in or the players that are already here have stepped up and kept pushing us forward, kept taking us on, and yeah, I think that's the most pleasing thing for me, is that every time we've had a problem, we found a solution. Individuals have stepped up, and you know, system shapes, whatever it might be. But it's ultimately the players that are the ones that take that forward, and that's the one thing that I've always got confidence in, is these group of people that we've got playing for us. Because no matter who it is or what position they're in, you know, they're going to give you their all, and they're going to get better doing it.
Gateshead head coach Rob Elliott there talking to the club website ahead of their game at York City this afternoon, and that is it for non-league fixtures today as well. But on Saturday we had a cracker at Croft Park with Blythe Spartans beating South Shields for the second time in 5 days. They're at Pastani on this left-hand side. He just has his heels clipped by Rhys Evans, but on they go. A lovely through ball. Blackett's run in behind. He's round the goalkeeper and he's poked it home, and that is a wonderful South Shields goal to open the scoring. Left-footed in, so he's low towards the near post. It's flicked in, and Blythe Spartans have an equaliser, and it is Finn Cousin Dawson who knocks it in at the near post. Smith square. Will McGowan can't find space for the shot, but back out to Little on this left-hand side. His cross is good. Hooper's header is in, and Blythe Spartans have a winner in stoppage time. JJ Hooper, the second half substitute, in front of the South Shield fans as well. Yeah, the former South Shield striker scoring right in front of the South Shields fans. And after that dramatic finish, I had a chat with the new
back if you want to hear some socials, if you're ready for that.
The performance on Boxing Day was excellent. We obviously dominated 45 minutes. We were 3-0 and cruising in a way. And the second half, there was a reaction from Shields which we didn't quite match. And although we created
Russian should be playing every game. His pressure off the ball is outstanding. Not like many people might notice. Good first half scoreline. Just wish we played Russian in more first time to beyond his man. That is making so many good runs.
Or they can rise. And
great first half. Finally, a striker makes a good run into the box, giving Clark more options. What you said before. Ekwart and Neil both having great games so far. Pritchard is just it's simply different class.
A point against Shields would have been a positive result.
Playing well today. Had a good feeling when I first seen the team sheet. At last the refs on our side for a change. Playing like Brazil, said somebody on drugs, I think. Over the moon for Russian, like, yeah, we have played good. So many runs, and that goal he ran from behind in front of the defender to get the goal. Give that man a constant game time. Luckily, Clark manages to get the pass.
You might not pick out individuals, but I will, because Finn Cousin Dawson.
Great performance from Sunderland. We just need to keep the foot pressed on that accelerator for the second half. Do not sit back, because Preston are in the top half of the table for a reason.
You know, we've got to have that conversation with Finn and Bradford and see what can be done. But if it is his last performance, since I've been here, he's been outstanding. He's grown. He was, in my opinion, a little bit young at the start of the season, and now he's a man at the
last
start
comment
of the defence. He talks, he's aggressive, he's front foot.
Last comment from Paul Hutchinson says, we look like scoring every time we attack, but still a bit panicky at the back. Do you think we'll look a bit
was outstanding.
panicky at the back?
It's going to be tough for me personally to nail somebody down today, because there was a lot of great performances out there.
There was indeed, and Blythe Spartans beat South Shields by 2-1. That was their new manager, John Shaw. Tonight then, Newcastle United are away to Liverpool in the Premier League. It's an 8 o'clock kick-off. The build-up here with Matthew Racebeck and John Anderson starts at 7. Newcastle have only won once away from home this season. Liverpool haven't lost at home in the league since October 2022. So the Magpies head coach, Eddie Howe, knows it's going to be a tough night.
Tough games coming up, of course, but they're the games that we relish. We've had a lot of those games this season against very good teams, so we're not daunted by it. We will attack it and give it our best shot. But yeah, recent results has been a challenge for us. The last couple of performances haven't been as good as they can be, so we're determined to get back and produce our best football.
Absolutely happy with that, Anne.
Games against Liverpool for sure. The game last season at Anfield was particularly tough for us. This season wasn't any easier. I think the positive thing in both of those games, we performed really well and we were competitive and gave Liverpool a really good game. I think for us, we need to be near perfect in this game. I think this is a really tough game for us. They've been performing very well at home, especially. Very consistent, really good team. So for us, the challenge is that we need to refine our best form, and we need to be mentally very strong.
Going to catch up now on some of the half-time chatting here.
Very well for a number of years. They've slightly tweaked in terms of the system, but the style is very similar, and it's.
At last, get in, says Rusty. Leighton, get in, young man. Derek, I told you Russian would score, get in.
Really good,
Derek predicts 3 or 4 now. Clark next. And Michael M, what's crazy is the fans have been calling this for months, and 3 managers just wouldn't start. Good point. Leighton Mills, maybe this drink-free resolution might have some legs.
From 7. Arsenal lost
Rusty Mackham and Gran Canaria, no changes required. Derek
Spurs were 3-1.
Says that Leighton, I think Russian will be class when he settles in and overcomes the language barrier.
Luton Town captain Tom Lockyer says he will meet specialists in the new year.
Go and see more for the half-time ratings.
Future, the 29-year-old who suffered a cardiac
As you can
arrest
see there, they're pretty much into the 7s and the 6s, and Bellingham on the 8. Glenn Sud, are you alright, mate? Bale serving up a slice of humble pie here. We're organised in defence and attack. Yeah, I don't mind eating a lot of humble pie, mate.
Bedlington's Chris Dobie is in quarter-final action at the PDC World Championships at Ali Pali in London, taking on the 2018 champion Rob Cross. It is first to 5 sets.
Someone just said in my chat, Glenn said, Bale serving up a slice of humble pie here. Yes, well, I can eat as many humble pie as I want.
Champion Michael Smith in the previous round. He is 3-0 up on Rob Cross. The match after them is the 16-year-old wonder kid Luke Littler taking on Northern Ireland's Brendan Noble. And then tonight the 3-time world champion Michael van Gerwen plays Scott Williams. Dave Chisnell takes on Scott Humphreys in the other quarter-final. Newcastle Falcons' search for a first Premiership win of the season goes on. After a 37-19 defeat at Saracens on Saturday, the Falcons highlight a cracker of a try from a man celebrating his 26th birthday.
Ball on the ground, Vansel has a look up, the ball's moved wide, and it's gone to ground again by Saracens, Newcastle. And this is really interesting foot race as it breaks free. If Radwan can get his hands on this, if it stands up, he has a look round, he's kicked it left-footed, he's going to score, That is a breakaway try from 95 metres by Adam Radwan, nobody could see coming.
And just for the avoidance of doubt, the man celebrating the 26th birthday is not Dean Gray, it's Adam Radwan, and his try, the bright spot in an otherwise familiar disappointing tale for the Falcons.
More goals from Sunderland in the second half, do you think?
That game. Here is their head coach, Alex Codlin.
Oh look, for me today was really a reflection of the group, how together they are, how hard they're prepared to work for each other. The frustration I had really in the sense first half was we defended like Trojans, took our opportunity with Adam, but just that error before half time around. We should have got in up a half.
It's a total different performance against Rotherham, like, isn't it?
Very ruthless, and they went in ahead of us
at
half-time whistle, which was a frustration for us. But certainly second half, at 25-19 behind on 63 minutes, we're certainly in the game. But I
think Bellingham's been immense. I think Bellingham's been absolutely immense.
The group is an amazing group to work with.
I'll keep Bellingham on for a bit. I think it's been really, really good.
Courage. We defended to a man like Trojans, and as I said, look. To have a better result away at the champions in front of a full house than we did at our own place, in a sense, despite the loss, if that's what people want to perceive it as, which I suppose it is in one way, that shows the progress the group are making.
They will get there eventually, they will, the Newcastle Falcons, that their head coach Alex Codling. But we are going back to the Stadium of Light then. Sunderland 2-0 up on Preston at the break. Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett back with full second half commentary in just a moment.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Ekwa just in front of the centre circle, right through the middle to Pritchard. Pritchard looks to shoot. Oh, what a goal! Alex Pritchard, 10th minute, 25 yards, and Sunderland lead 1-0. That's a scorcher from Alex Pritchard. Story with Clark taking him on into the penalty area, putting it back for Roos. Who scores?
Well done!
A striker scores for Sunderland is the headline. In the 44th
apparently after Russell
minute,
scored 0-9,
Nazari Rusin stabs the ball home. Clark's pass inside, and Rusin just flicked it under the goalkeeper.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
So Preston's players out for the
They don't realise they
second
can't
half.
start
They will
until we get
defend
back
the
out, though, don't they?
north end of the stadium. Woodman in goal, Potts, Story, Lindsay and Hughes, Whiteman, McCann, Brown, Frockyar, Miller and Evans is the Preston 11. They're all in yellow, the black line down the front of their shirts. Sunderland, Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, O'Nien, Elise, Neil, Equa, Pritchard, Joe, Clark and Rusin, whose last appearance was November the 25th, and he now has a goal to his name. And, you know, going back to the way that goal was taken, the fact was, you know, he's doing just what we said at the start of the programme in the build-up. Fox in the box. He knows instinctively where to go, where he should be.
Fox in the box, Johnny on the spot, whatever you want to call him, but he gives us something different going forward, and that's something which we have we haven't had. You know, we've become.
I don't think we've started with Russian,
especially around that 18-yard box.
Be interesting to see how the second half pans out now in terms
Another
of
two will be
you know,
good
how
for
much
our
game
goals
time he'll
for
get today. Will they leave him on the whole game? Will he play an hour? Will they switch it round?
Well, again, I think, you know, it's about managing him. It's about managing the game. I think 70 minutes, then I think that will do him the world of good, because he'll grow with confidence. He's got 70 minutes under his belt playing first team football. He's got his goal.
And Sunderland 2-0 up. Look, I know that's, you know, you've got to still concentrate. Here's O'Nien putting the ball back with Frockyar giving chase, but Patterson gets the ball clear away to our right at the Roker end in his light blue. Of course, Sunderland in their red and white stripes, but they hold a 2-0 lead. The bench for Sunderland this afternoon: Bishop, Pembele, Burstow, Mayenda, Barr, Aushish, Sealt, Triantis and Rigg. You'd think if it's like 2-0 with 20 minutes or so to play, 3-0 maybe, fingers crossed, they might just try
the mad mistake's not even at the game today.
Well, I think you know, it'd be looking ahead. Well, looking
and
for
next
weekend,
they?
As well. One thing you don't want to do is pick up one or two key injuries to one or two key players.
Yes, Roberts hopefully will be okay for the weekend. The derby not being risked obviously today, after saying he felt the tight hamstring. Potts with a throw for Preston here on the right wing, back to Jordan Story and into Ben Whiteman, back to Lindsay, and then ironically Lindsay, who was booked for a foul on Rusin got the last laugh, didn't he, just before half-time with that second Sunderland goal. It's now with Lindsay again, Liam Lindsay at the back, playing it to his right to Jordan Story through the centre. Ali McCann back to Story. Clark went to close him down. McCann out to Potts on this right wing, swinging it up through the middle, looking for Ched Evans, who's trying to flick it past Ballard. Also coming in is Alan Brown, but Ballard's held them both off.
Ballard.
And it's run behind for a
We
goal
can't
kick.
mark Beale's cards on what happened at Rangers. It's horses for courses, and it may not have been the right dynamic.
2-0 still then.
Look at Alex Neil failure.
BBC Radio
Yeah,
Newcastle.
totally agree. It's what he does here that matters.
Patterson just throwing the ball down in the 6-yard box, cutting across here to take the goal kick. O'Nien to his right, Ballard to his left, which is interesting because they've swapped over in this second half.
Well, lads.
In the first half, Ballard was on the right, O'Nien was on the left. And now it's the reverse of that situation.
Well, lads.
A throw to Sunderland on the left wing here. Elise to take this his first game this season, having come back from injury, of course, from being called back, rushed back if you like, last season for the playoffs when they just literally didn't have the bodies.
If a player wants to go to a club, he'll go to a club.
Here for Job, who's pushed in the back, and the flag up from the assistant. Free kick to Sunderland on the touchline on the left of you, about 20 yards from the corner on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's a good addition. And I see the left back, and again Sirkin's on his way back as well.
Yeah, not far away apparently from what Michael Beale was saying on Friday night after Rotherham. Good to get those bodies back. Jay Matete won't be far away either, you know, so there's they're gradually getting players hopefully back into the fold. Unfortunately, Niall Huggins is not one of them, and again, thoughts with him facing a long...
Are you going live streaming for the derby, dear Anth?
Again, yeah. Throw for Preston, Brad Potts in his own half on the right-hand side. We're in the 49th minute here as it drops over Elise. Ballard gets in front of Evans, steers it back to Anthony Patterson towards the edge of his penalty area. Evans looking to cut him or intercept, but it's played out to O'Nien on the right-hand side, and down the right wing. Oh, it bounces over Hughes, and Pritchard's behind.
That's on TV now. We're doing all right.
And then trying to get it back off him is McCann. Hughes trying to stab it away, and he does for a throw.
I'm going to stream it. Like, I think the bad will be good.
Almost embarrassing Hughes then, as the ball bounced over. Hume goes down to take this throw then on the far side, the Sunderland right to the foot of the east stand. Some supporters on that far lucky enough to be bathed in sunshine at the moment, but Preston come away with the ball here, and it's Liam Miller, the loanee from Basel, the Canadian international. He's run into the Sunderland half. He's still going down that left hand side, but Hume slides in.
Excellent, Hume.
Throw
Great
to
recovery.
Preston.
Great recovery.
And McCann down the line again. It's Miller back behind him. Frockyar, I think it is, back behind again to Ali McCann. He's played it back to Lindsay in the centre circle, and Rusin's trying to get the ball off him. Lindsay just throws him to one side, and Rusin's
from Newcastle
couldn't get the better of the 6'4" centre half. There's quite a height differential between him and Rusin, as Miller swings across in, headed away by Ballard, but straight to Potts. Half volley, crashes against Elise, and comes back to Potts, who tries to steer it into midfield. Whiteman through the middle then to Frockyar. Back out it comes to Whiteman, and across now on the left-hand side to Hughes, and then Miller on the left of the penalty area, onto his right foot, drives a shot, and is palmed down at the post by Patterson, kept in by O'Nien.
Good start by Preston, mate.
He denies Preston a corner, but we will get a throw on the far side, just inside the Sunderland half.
Yeah, they're posing a little bit of a threat now, aren't they? They've got nothing to lose.
No, they can have a
Preston,
go.
2-0 down.
It's stopped by Patterson, coming in the 51st minute. But still 2-0 to Sunderland. Another throw to Sunderland, this time on the far side. Hume halfway inside the Sunderland half.
Third goal put this game to bed, do you think?
To Hume, hangs it in the air. Job just flicks it back with his right foot to Ballard at the edge of the penalty area. Ballard to Neil. And he's nearly caught. He is caught. Frockyar's got the ball into the penalty area. Shot blocked by Ballard. Comes out though for Preston on this right-hand side. Potts will put it back in straight to Dan Neil. Neil passing it out now. Lovely ball. Lovely weighted ball for Clark to run onto. Rooston in the middle. Clark trying to get round Story again. Story's got a foot to it. Gets in front of Clark. Gets it back to the goalkeeper, who has to swiftly clear this with Rooston closing in. Then Elise gets a foot round Alan Brown. A throw to Preston on the right on halfway, which Brad Potts will take. He needs some help. Frockyar's making some movement, and still waiting to take this throw. Potts finally headed on by Evans, and on again by Brown, who clutches his head. He got caught by Ballard. Free kick to Preston, wide on the right, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Ben Whiteman
got to defend this.
Will take
on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Free kick, yep. Evans is down the right wing. Wants it played to him. Pritchard saying to Rusin, go and have a just stick with Evans here at the edge of the area. Whiteman 5 yards in from touch, halfway inside the Sunderland half. A line of red and white shirts along the 18-yard line and squeezed in by both corners of the D. 5 Preston players behind that line. It's swept in by Whiteman. It's hooked away by Clark, only as far as McCann. Looks for Miller on the left wing, and he's gone.
Good start from Preston though. They've come out. I would expect them to. They need to chase the game.
Place to Whiteman, and Whiteman now looks up, drives it into the penalty area. Job heads it out. Neil takes it on his chest, then hooks it away, looking for Roostin, and it's come down off him for Pritchard. Pritchard trying to get away from McCann, gets it back to O'Nien, and now across to Elise on this left-hand side. Michael Beale urging his team to break, to push forwards. Job into the middle to Neil. Neil across to Hume, and Hume, just in his own half, plays it back to Dan Ballard. Sunderland leading 2-0. We're in the 54th minute. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Tonight, later on tonight, we've got full commentary of Liverpool versus Newcastle with Razor and Ando.
It's still there buried in the pitch, you know.
Out to
I reckon it's going to sprout a few new teeth if they don't find it soon.
Back into Dan. Neil in the middle of the Sunderland half. Into the centre circle to Ekwa. Back to Neil. Neil bringing this forwards now, and we'll play it out wide to Hume. Hume to Neil. Neil, Frockyard just on the shoulder, plays it through the gap for Pritchard, then to Hume on the wide right position on the touchline, then Pritchard again, crosses here, headed away by Potts. Rusin picks it up at the edge of the area, turns, now trying to get into the penalty area, but forced back out by 3 Preston defenders. Behind him is Neil, and Neil into Rusin again. Rusin on the right side of midfield, trying to dribble away to the right to Neil, down the line, Pritchard. Roos has made that little run.
Well, you heard his shout and get in at the Sunderland second goal, and I didn't spoil it, did I?
Neil forwards to Hume, Pritchard again. Pritchard back to Neil, inside to Hume, back onto the halfway line for Trey Hume, and then plays it to Luke O'Nien on the left of the centre circle, to Elise on this left-hand side. Forwards to Clark. Clark back to Elise.
Absolutely.
Being pushed back by Alan Brown. O'Nien behind him, into the middle to Ballard. Ballard again starts up to the halfway line, looks for Hume down the right, little flick out to Pritchard. Rusin's making the run, Pritchard's taking it inside into Hume in the middle, and it comes off the head of a defender, drops for Potts, under pressure from Clark. Potts denies Sunderland the corner but gives away the throw on the left hand side. So Elise with the throw. He's got Job or Clark back down the touchline. Pritchard jogging across here. Job trying to get round the back of Whiteman. Drops for Pritchard, back to Elise. Pritchard, little flick off the foot of Story for a throw again to Sunderland.
I wouldn't like to be around the stadium at night or see if Sunderland beat Newcastle, say 3-0.
Forwards. Drops to Job. Job under pressure from 3 defenders, gets it to Pritchard behind him. Pritchard then finds Clark, flag comes up, offside, tight. A free kick right side of the Preston penalty area, taken by Jordan Story. One of 3 changes that Ryan Lowe made at the start of play today. Likewise, Michael Beale made 3 changes. We are in the 57th minute. Sunderland lead still 2-0. Played out to McCann by Woodman. And now Whiteman, and back here on the right hand side to Story, and the derby build up begins here as the ball from a free kick played out by Frockyard to Potts. Potts back to Story, inside to Whiteman, across to Lindsay. Rusin goes to close him down, he plays it out to Hughes on the left wing, and he's played it inside to McCann again, and then back to Story. Story now up to the halfway line, looking for the run of Potts. Potts down this right wing, Elise goes to cover, it's played into the middle, it's swept forwards by Frockyard and blocked, comes back out again, McCann's shot straight at Patterson.
Yeah, good break there by Preston.
Yeah. So Patterson straightforward save. Still 2-0. Patterson out to Elise on the left, and he's trying to find Clark's run. Potts trying to get there first. Clark beats him to it. Little tug on the shirt by Potts. Clark still has it. Rolls it in the middle to Job. Job then Pritchard back to Job, onto his left, onto his right, twisting round the defender, trying to find an opening. Looks for Elise. Played it behind Elise. Out for a throw to Preston.
And Hume is he's furious because he's made a fantastic run.
I was just trying to outside Gary Bennett there with that mislaid pass.
So throw, Potts gets it back again, just kept in by Brown, back to Potts, looking to get it up to Evans, stabbed away by O'Nien, back to Evans though from Whiteman. O'Nien wins it with a foul on Ched Evans. inside the Preston half on the right-hand side. Free kick to Preston North End. Finished last season 12th. Remember that last game of the season, the normal season at Deepdale. A dramatic afternoon.
And then the playoffs.
Yeah. Then we met them at the beginning of this season, which seems a long time ago now. Preston won a game which, you know, I think Sunderland came away from feeling a bit hard done by because they felt they didn't deserve to lose that day.
No.
As Lindsay cuts the ball out from Equa. Puts it out. Throw to Sunderland on the far side. The ball comes back through Ballard to Patterson. And Will Keane and Mads Frokjaer were the goal scorers. In between those two, Jack Clark scored with a penalty, of course.
That wasn't out, man. Come on, push up.
Alan Brown's appealing for something, but Potts clears, looking for the run through the middle of Miller. Patterson just comes out calmly, catches it ahead of the Canadian. And jogging backwards, Patterson thought about rolling it through to Neil, but then rolls it to the feet of Ballard.
He's the Alan Shearer song.
Out to Equa in midfield. He's fouled by McCann. Free kick to Sunderland in the middle of their half. To the 61st minute, Sunderland 2, Preston North End 0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Luke O'Nien poised to take the free kick to Ballard, to Hume, and blocked by Miller. It's a throw to Sunderland on the right. Hume just bends over, picks the ball up, looks for someone to make a bit of movement. It's all a bit static at the moment on that far side. Now Equa,
it's flat, isn't it?
Yeah, makes a move. Hume back to Ballard, trying to hook it up to Rusin, who heads it on through the middle, but there's nobody there. Lindsay easily tidies this up. Whiteman then pumping it away up front towards Evans, headed away by O'Nien. Evans going to win it back from Equa, who's pulling on his arm, wrestling with Evans. The ball comes back here on the left for Frokjaer, who plays it to Whiteman, then to the left, Hughes down the line to Miller, and Miller has got McCann behind him, but he's come back here to Frokjaer, and Frokjaer trying to slip it through the edge of the area, and Evans was trying to win it there, but it's won back by Pritchard, who's lost it to Miller. Miller on the left of the area, pulls it back behind him to Frokjaer, who whips it into the penalty area, looking for Evans, back to goal, drops for McCann, shoots and blocked by Evans, his own player, and then eventually breaks for a throw to Preston on the right wing.
We've just lost our direction, Nick.
Gary Bennett's saying we've lost our direction. Has he been a bit too negative?
Yes, they've got nothing to lose at the moment, but they're the ones who are pressing.
Here they go again, Story into the middle to McCann. Job managed to get a foot to it, and then Ballard to Pritchard. Pritchard, though, beaten to it by Hughes, who drives it straight at Neil. Neil to Job at the back of the centre circle. Ballard behind him, forwards to Pritchard. Pritchard got a little bit tangled up in the ball, but he comes away with it. McCann tries to tackle him. He's played it inside to Hume. Hume inside again to Neil in the centre circle, to Job, and out to Clark on the left wing. And Clark pots in front of him, plays it inside to Neil, just left of the centre circle, back to Ballard. And Ballard, a short pass to Equa. Equa back to Ballard again, just inside the Sunderland half. To the left to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien to Elise. Elise back to O'Nien. Forwards again to Neil. Back to O'Nien, across to Ballard. And Ballard will play out wide to Hume. Back to Ballard. Inside to Equa. Plays it back to Ballard. He's closed down by Frokjaer, plays it to Equa again, plays it through the middle. Neil, could it open up here? Rusin's making a dash. Neil's going on, Pritchard's to his right, rolls it to Pritchard. Pritchard on the right has to come in past Hughes, into the penalty area, blocked by Hughes, falls to Whiteman, and he gets it out on the left-hand side to Miller, and trying to win it back off him is Neil. Comes back though to Hughes, and back again.
Come on, man,
Lindsay, and the goalkeeper, Freddie Woodman. 26-year-old brings this out to the right. Potts just in front of Michael Beale. Inside, he's played it to Brown, who's trying to get it down the right again for Potts to chase. but O'Nien will beat him
and
to
refreshes
it.
the
And
stream
O'Nien
full
now
time when it comes
just
on.
trying to twist away from Potts, manages to find Elise, forwards again, just past Job, back into the Preston half. Lindsay to Hughes in the centre circle, out wide to Liam Miller. And Miller plays it inside to McCann. Back to Liam Miller, a 24-year-old on loan from Basel. Finds Frockyar,
I think Defoe for the best goal, but for the best sort of way it happened, I think it's the Canyon. That's just my personal choice. Especially on their patch as well.
Potts back to Story, and Story back to Lindsay. We're in the 65th minute. Sunderland 2, up on halfway. It's swung again wide to the right here, looking for Brown's run down the right of the penalty area. Just keeps it in, stabs it behind him to Frockyar, and Frockyar leaves it for Potts. And Brad Potts plays it back to Jordan Story. Story, short pass through to McCann, out wide to Brown. Brown forwards to Potts. Potts closed down by Job, and Potts takes it onto the corner almost, and it's blocked by Job off Potts for a throw to Sunderland, though Potts is arguing with the assistant.
You're going to have 20 odd minutes of Preston pushing, and I think you'll see Sunderland start to turn the switch gear again.
Yeah.
Going to have the lads to pro at it.
I wonder if it's going to be Osmajic, their striker, who comes on. Militin Osmajic, signed in the summer from Cadiz.
A third will finish his game off like.
Internationals. Clark is wrestling with.
It's comfortable 2-0, but it's still just a little bit edgy, isn't it?
Sunderland still in their own half on the left. Elise comes forwards to take the throw for Sunderland, who still lead 2-0. There's Preston ready there, substitution. It could be Will Keane as well, actually.
Yeah, Will Keane's coming on, isn't he?
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be a double substitution. Will Keane back in the squad after missing the game against Sheffield Wednesday. It is going to be a double switch by Preston.
I was just a stain on my dad's sock then.
It is Osmajic, isn't it, is the other who's coming on. Freshening things up in attack. Another free kick here for Sunderland. As Will Keane and Osmajic come out of the dugout, getting some instructions from Ryan Lowe. Ball back with
I thought you said 69.
In the FA Cup next weekend, while Sunderland have Newcastle here at 12:45 on Saturday. On Saturday, Preston North End at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. As the ball put out here on the right by Brown for a throw to Sunderland. The substitution's about to be made by Preston. And McCann is coming off for Keane. So 6 goals for Will Keane, signed from Wigan in the summer. And obviously Evans is coming off for Osmajic. Four goals this season. Militant.
Shirt ripped, doesn't it?
Osmajic.
Keane on, Osmajic off, McCann and Evans on.
Elise on the left. 25 yards from the corner to take it. Finds Job. He's got Brown all over him behind, and Ekwa in the end clears up to halfway, where Rusin gets it out to Clark. Now he tries to run it through the middle for either Pritchard or Rusin to run onto, but it's steered back to the goalkeeper, and Woodman kicks out wide, looking for Potts, headed down by Elise Clark, but a foot in from Story. Out it goes for a throw, and the assistant took a long time to make a decision, but finally, after the referee blew and pointed towards the Sunderland goal, the throw awarded to Preston, and Sunderland I think are going to make a change. They are, and it is, I'm thinking, is that Mienda? I'm not, or Bar. Someone's under the perspex of the dugout, but they haven't got their back to me at the moment. There's the ball here with Potts. Potts trying to get it in past Ekwa, who's got it back to Clark. Clark now on the halfway line, on the left, into the middle, Neal, but in comes Will Keane and whips the ball off him, plays it back to Hughes, and then to Whiteman, out to the left, Miller back to Hughes, and then forwards up into the path of Osmajic on the halfway line.
Well, it's been 20
Plays
minutes
it
coming
back
up and
to
it's all Preston.
Whiteman forwards now to Frockyar. Potts has made a run down the right, but it's hit too hard and it's run behind for a goal kick. And Sunderland trying to get this change made, and it's Pembele, I think. It's Pembele who's coming on.
Pembele are coming on for
Pembele,
Sunderland.
they do, don't they?
For Sunderland, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the change here is going to be then. I wonder if Elise might come off. Yeah, Elise, Hume will come over to the left, won't he?
Pembele coming on,
So
Elise
Elise
coming
gets
off.
70 minutes really in his belt. Great to see him back.
Good, been solid like today, like.
Hume comes across to this left-hand side and Pembele will go on the right. That's good minutes in the tank for Elise.
Yeah, well done, Elise. Solid performance today.
And Timotei Pembele on now. Shakes the hand of Job. Pritchard's come running across to Michael Beale here. Just had his arm raised to Patterson not to get play underway again, which he has done now. He's had a word with Michael Beale, Alex Pritchard, and runs back on and points in a couple of directions. The ball played out to Pembele on the right, but he's beaten him and played back by Hughes to Freddie Woodman in his light blue at the edge of his area, passing it out to Hughes. Preston all yellow.
Oh, don't you dare say that, Anth, please.
Brown then to Whiteman, who gets it out to Miller on the touchline on the left, but he's lost it to Pritchard. Oh. He's been pulled back. Foul on Miller, says Oliver Langford. Free kick to Preston North End, 2-0 down in the 71st minute. And this free kick wide left, just inside the Preston half, is played back to goalkeeper Freddie Woodman. Kicks long. Will Keane looking to get on the end of it. O'Nien does. Neal hooks it in the air, headed on by Story, picked up by Keane. Potts on the touchline, and Keane is just ahead of him. It comes, it rolls.
Have you not got to tell you the toilet, Hans, no?
Then to Ekwa turning away down the left.
Absolutely.
To get over the halfway line.
I thought you meant to cost me bag there.
Throw to just down by Ryan Lowe. Hume flicks the ball up into his right hand. Spins
well, if you're at
of times
if you're at the game, just love it at the Newcastle fans, you'll be all right.
Down the line. Job makes a run forwards. Neil is behind him.
I hope for a 2-2 draw, says Young. Well,
Hume, gets it inside.
It's not over till the fat lady sings.
Just caught his ankle, and a free kick to Sunderland. Potts actually comes back to apologise to Hume. Referee has a word. Hume's back up on his feet. Referee's now having another word with Brad Potts. There's been only one booking in the game, and that was for Lindsay, a cynical foul on.
I can't believe the years, 14 years up, 14 hours long already.
Sunderland have made only the one change, 2-0 up.
I can't believe the years, 14 hours long already.
18 minutes left of the 90. And a reminder, we've got the big match at Anfield tonight. Liverpool against Newcastle. Razor and Ando there for BBC Radio Newcastle this evening, 8 o'clock kickoff. The ball put out by Hughes on the Sunderland left after.
Don't joke. I'm not joking here, honestly.
Work by Pritchard and Rusin, and Hume down this left-hand side again to take the throw. Drops to Pritchard, back to Hume, trying to go around Story. Story holding him off, pushing the ball back. Eventually to Lindsay. He's under pressure. The ball's out again. Another throw to Preston this time on this right-hand side, which Brad Potts will take. And this, in fact, is being left for Story to take.
Did you watch the fireworks at London on the telly last night?
Preston. 3 substitutes warming up for Sunderland.
Oh, yeah.
Oshish, Barr and Burstow. Brown has it for Preston, taps it back into the penalty area to Lindsay and across to Hughes on the far side. And Hughes driving a long ball up through the middle, looking for the run of Osmajic. O'Nien gets in front of him and manages to steer it back to Patterson. Osmajic tumbles down looking for a penalty. He's the only one appealing. Potts back to Story on halfway on the right. Forwards to Frockyar.
Come on, son.
Frockyar, Mads Frockyar, into the path of Whiteman, trying to get it into the penalty area.
Get up, man.
Vujic goes down again. He's spending more time on the floor than he is on his feet at the moment, and shakes the hand of, slaps the hand of O'Nien. The ball back with Patterson.
Why no?
Looking across to the Roker end.
Didn't even snap the thread with that pull, did he?
Corner. A lot of empty seats.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of empty seats, Nick Barnes has just said.
They've changed the shape of the team.
Freddie Woodman.
Preston have. They're going to be three at the back.
Three at the back and two up front with Osmajic and Keane.
And Potts is playing as a wing back.
Yeah.
And Miller is playing as a wing back.
And here's Brown, was caught by Rusin. Out wide, then to Miller on the left-hand side. Inside to Brown, back to Hughes. Brown to Brown again forwards through the middle. Then Will Keane on halfway. He's got Hughes wide. To Hughes it goes, back again to Brown on halfway, left of the centre circle, looking to get it out wide right here to Potts. Potts now, he's just tapped it to his right to Frockyar. Frockyar inside to Brown, who made a run forwards. Potts inside again to Whiteman. Whiteman trying to get it through the middle to Keane.
Sunderland get out of it.
And now Brown again at the corner of the penalty area on the right, into the penalty area again to Potts. He's tackled, and it's Dan Neal trying to get the ball away from Brad Potts, slips it back inside to O'Nien in the penalty area, and he's looking for the run possibly of Pembele. Played across.
That's all
away
Preston.
From him and Miller out for a throw to Preston.
Bar's coming on now, isn't he?
And Bar is coming on.
Oh, good news 2-0, bad news is Bar's coming on. That's it, 3-2 Preston.
Pritchard. No, it's for Rusin.
Interesting. You'd have thought they might have brought on first or somebody.
But Rusin's got a goal, is getting a nice ovation as he comes off here, peeling off his gloves. The Ukrainian Nazaraj Rusin added to the roster of goal scorers this season, the 15th goal scorer for Sunderland this season, Nazaraj Rusin, as Bar comes on and Sunderland defending a 2-0 lead.
Can you imagine 3-2 Preston freaking Bar's come on.
Who's effectively gone up front, isn't it? Yeah. As the ball comes back to Lindsay, pushes it onto Whiteman, nearly intercepted by Clark, gets it to Story, out to Potts on this right-hand side, and then inside to Story again, and inside again to Whiteman, back to Story, looking for the run down the right of Frockyar, who's just managed to keep it in. Everyone's saying it had gone out, but he's crossed into the penalty area. Bar's headed it out, and it's going to drop to the feet of Miller. And Miller behind him is Hughes, and he drives it into the penalty area, looking for Keane, but Ballard gets his head on it and wins a free kick for a push by Will Keane. So 2-0 still to Sunderland in the 77th minute.
There's someone upstairs.
Patterson retrieving the ball to take the free kick. Just throws the ball down towards the penalty spot.
Well, it's been a bit of a quiet Sunderland second half, hasn't it?
Everybody pushing up. Rare kick out from the back by Sunderland. 2-0 up, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. And
that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Towards the left. Job goes.
It's like having a man sent off, bringing on Bar. God's sake. I hope he scores at Worldy today, I really do.
You've got to make another substitution.
Preston, yeah, 19 is Emil Rees Dane. Another forward.
You need to be careful of you though, Sunderland. I mean, if Preston get a goal back, it's squeaky bum time, isn't it?
20.
And your Sunday dinner's not looking good, out
this season, but waiting to come on for Preston.
Not for your bag leaks at 2-2.
Will be their third substitution. They play it out from the back again here. Lindsay at the edge of the D. Now wide to Story. Story is going to have to play it back to the goalkeeper under pressure from Clark.
Remember the QPR game when we're 2-0 up?
This time
like 3 minutes to go.
Miller closed down by Barr. Back to Hughes. Pritchard goes to close him down, pushing it on again to Brown. to Miller. Miller just inside of him, and now looking for
Barr
again.
Come on.
Barr gets on his shoulders. It comes back, and Pritchard is trying to put Miller off, but Miller's cut across the middle, and then turns and plays it back out left to Andrew Hughes, and the Welshman swings it down the left wing, looking for the run of Osmajic, but runs off him and behind for a goal kick to Sunderland.
He's solid like Ballard, isn't he? Hold on, Buzz Lightyear there.
Frockyard's coming off, one Dane for another.
He's quality.
It's coming in the 79th minute.
Got him from Arsenal, didn't we?
Goes up into a forwards position alongside Osmajic. Will Keane dropping back. Goal kick again.
Roberts for Spurs.
It's going to be kicked long by Patterson.
Clark was from Leeds, I think.
Neither keepers actually had anything to do, really, have they, in the second half?
No.
They sort of cancelled each other out. As the kick drops to Potts, heads it on, hooked in the air by Rees. Looking for Osmajic, and Pembele lost sight of it. Ballard's trying to win
Bollard
it.
again, man. Bollard, solid as a rock. You're not getting the penalty, Preston. Shut up.
Penalty area comes out to O'Nien, trying to get it forwards here to Job, wrestling and winning a free kick from Lindsay.
Tom thinks he actually thinks Barr will score. Well, he does.
Clean sheet. That's what you want.
That's what he wants to do now. Yeah. 42,714, I think, was that the announcement.
Correct.
The attendance today, this New Year's Day, 42,714 confirmed. As O'Nien brings the ball forwards, looking at the run of Pembele, headed away by Hughes. Headed away by Barr to Pembele, then Pritchard. And Pritchard on the touchline, back behind him to...
Oh, where's Sunderland? Let's have the last 10 minutes,
and, then Ekwa back out to Barr, tackled by Brown. Throw to Sunderland, which Pembele is coming back to.
The second half, it's been mostly Preston, but they've not really done much with it, Angelo.
Barr making a bit of movement here. Pritchard is there too, so's Job. Job trying to flick it down to Barr, but it's Brown or Whiteman who steers it back to Freddie Woodman. Passing
so
out
Sunderland are up to 6 at the moment.
Clark tried to intercept Woodman's clearance. O'Nien heads it down to Neil in the centre circle.
Oh, where's Sunderland? Next 10 minutes hours, Come on.
In the centre circle still, just to his right to Ekwa, looking for Pritchard, but Hughes whipped in front of him, gets the ball to Keane, now to Whiteman and out to Miller on the left wing. Back to Lindsay behind the centre circle in the 82nd minute. Sunderland still leading 2-0. Here's Miller.
Well, Yum Yum on my chat says if Preston score in the next 5 minutes, it'll be a draw.
He's just left it for Brown, looking for Rees, stabbed away by O'Nien, to Barr, to Job. There's a run from Clark, but they need someone else through there. They need someone else to make a run, and Pritchard's gone down the right, but there's nobody going through the middle at the minute, and it's had to come back to Ekwa.
There's no urgency of Sunderland going forward at the moment. They just seem comfortable with 2-0.
That's where it just goes flat, doesn't it? Without Rooston up the front, who was making those runs. Here's Barr again, out to the left to Clark. Clark on the left of the penalty.
Yeah, you can tell there's a massive gap with Rooston not being in there, isn't it?
Back again to Hume, and forwards again to Barr. Trying to find a gap for Neil, but it's won back by Preston. And they will bring this out to Potts on the right-hand side. Hume in front of him. Potts cuts inside, plays it across to the left wing, looking for Liam Miller. Pembele goes to close him down. Miller dribbling down the touchline on the left, the 83rd minute. Cutting infield now again and playing it to Jordan Story here on the right side of the centre circle. And he plays it out wide again to Brown. Brown trying to get back inside and try and find an opening. Clark in front of him, and Brown eventually through the middle to Will Keane. Keane, Rees and Osmajic up front, but it's come back to Brown, then down the left again.
Oh, where's Sunderland, man? That wasn't a free kick giveaway, nowhere near. Play on.
Gets it back again from Pritchard, but Brown got in front of him. The ball stays.
Sunderland just can't connect to pass. They just can't connect to pass at the minute. Sunderland.
Preston to play it back to Whiteman,
It's
who's lifted
scrappy.
it up to the edge of the area looking for Rees, but O'Nien cuts around the back of him, and is coming away with this down the right wing. Still going, O'Nien, and down that touchline, trying to find Job. Does well to find him on the halfway line. Behind him is Barr. Back it comes to Ekwa, and Ekwa across here now to Hugh. And forwards down the left wing to Clark. Clark trying to come past Potts, goes inside of him. He's got Neil just ahead of him, tries to find the gap for Job, but Hughes has
good
got
defending by them,
allows
number
the ball
16
to roll
now.
behind for a goal kick.
Another substitution. Triantis, is it? No.
Brighton Hughes says, awful football.
Trian-
Can't keep the ball. We will get
and
murdered
Leander.
next week if we play like this.
So
this is what it's like to support
thinking
Sunderland.
here.
Says Angela, how are you doing?
Pritchard's coming off. Well, he's had a good game again, Pritchard.
Yeah.
Deservedly getting innovation. Got the goal. Joe coming
I
off.
did that, you know. Did you notice Sean was standing behind him with the microphone ready for full time?
Understandable. He's playing up front. Give him a breather now before the derby next weekend. He's coming off in one piece. Mayenda will go up front.
He's had a good game, Bellingham, mind.
Job just strolling off, applauding the crowd. Mayenda comes on.
Well done, Pritchard, son.
Job looks tired, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is tired. Definitely.
5 minutes of the 90, just under to play, plus whatever's added on. I don't imagine there'll be a huge amount. We've not had many stoppages in the second half, and it's not been a particularly sort of flat second half. It's sort of stalemate really in the second half. Ball in the air, bounces off Will Keane.
Preston have still got it though.
Into Keane back into the middle to Alan Brown. Miller's making a dash of 1-2 down the left wing. It's played to him. Silk goes to close him down, and then the cross from Miller. It drops for Potts. Who swings his foot through it onto the concourse. Well off target. Brad Potts. And suitable retort, apologies for the language, from the Roker end. So 2-0 then to Sunderland in the 86th. We're now into the 87th minute. Just need to see this through.
I thought it was funny when Akinfenwa played at the stadium, right, and the Sunderland fans are singing "Your tits are offside."
Kicks up over halfway, up off of Mayenda, bounces down eventually for Lindsay to try and head forwards, and out for a throw to Preston, which Potts will take on this right-hand side.
Do you think that's the last time we will see Bellingham? No.
Looking for some help.
Oh, do you mean his brother? Do you mean watching in the stands?
Play back over to the left to Hughes. Hughes forwards to Brown.
Who drew Bellingham?
Brown then wide left.
Job, why?
Miller back inside to Alan Brown. He tries to get it forwards down the left side of the penalty area to Miller, who pulls it back, but O'Nien's there at the edge of the 6-yard box to block it and clear. Out to the right now. Pembele forwards.
Would that be a good move, do you think?
Back out to Pembele. Back to Sealt. And Sealt
nobody making a run.
Plays it up through the middle, but nobody there. Straight to Liam Lindsay. Then Potts in the middle, just in front of the centre circle, out to Miller on the left wing. Twists trying to get away from
well
Pembele.
done.
Tackled by Sealt. Left on
Go
the
on,
deck.
Sealt.
Forwards to Barr.
Bar.
Now Hughes.
What was Barr trying to do there?
Whiteman, and forwards to Will Keane. Back behind him. Story out to Potts wide on the right. 88th minute, and Potts looking for Keane at the corner of the penalty area. Out wide to Story. Cross from Whiteman.
We're solid at the back.
Luke O'Nien. Straight to Andrew Hughes in the middle, and then forwards again, straight to Trey Hume from Preston, lifting it over the top. There's a big ask of Clark, runs away from him out for a throw, as Michael Beale just trying to get his players to push out, he's calling.
Well, we've struggled to get going in this second half.
We have.
You know, 2-0 up.
Job, I think his brother's been there the last 3 games to help him with his move to Real Madrid.
Stale, a bit flat. The ball breaks, possibly for Pembele, but he couldn't.
So next game, Sunderland is Ipswich away. Hole then score.
For
tasty.
Preston over to the left to Miller, who makes another run down that left wing, Sealt in front of him as he plays it back. Miller
to get out to him.
Hughes back down the left to Miller, Sealt in front of him. Miller at the corner of the area, comes across the back of the penalty box, forced out by Ekwa, leaves it for Story down the right to Brad Potts again on the right hand side. Potts trying to get out, but is tackled by Clark on the break here.
Go on,
He's only got Mayenda up through the middle as the yellow shirts of Preston pour back. Clark's having to do this on his own. And finally Whiteman tackles him, and the ball will roll out behind for a corner. And that could have been prevented by Lindsay. He thought it came off a Sunderland, the boot of Clark, but it didn't. So it's a corner for Sunderland, only their second of the game, comes in the last minute. I wonder how much time we will have added on.
3 minutes.
I think so. Dean Whitestone's the 4th official waiting below us. We've got about 25 seconds to find out. Barr goes down with Clark to the left corner.
The Sunderland actually had a shot on goal target second half, or not?
Michael Beale, it's a short corner to Clark. He comes back out at the back of the penalty area. Could be 4 minutes. Hume inside to
4 minutes to 5 minutes added on, I reckon.
Hume
I don't know where they got that from, to be honest with you.
Ekwa, and we will have 4 minutes. And we're into those 4 minutes now. Sunderland leading 2-0. Good start to 2024. Goals, first goals this season for Alex Pritchard and Nazari Rusin as it comes through here to Pembele, playing in the middle, up front. Behind him is Barr, out wide is Mayenda. Pembele's in the penalty area. Preston win it back. They're on the break. Alan Brown up towards the halfway line, comes through the centre circle, looking for the run of Brad Potts. He's hit it too hard, and Patterson will come across, claims this. And Potts on the shoulder of Hume has to just stroll away in the end as Patterson just leans.
So then, who's your guys' man of the match? Anybody in the chat? Anyone? Who would you say a man of the match is?
He's going to kick this one up field. 3 minutes left of the minimum 4.
As the Sunderland fans are streaming for the exits, they think the side's done enough.
Osmajic's just in front of him. Here's the kick upfield onto the head of Hughes, who nods it down to his left again to Miller.
Get out
on that left wing. He's trying to take on Sealt, checks. Pembele's come back as well. It's played back to Hughes. Hughes down that left again to Miller, looking to get Hughes in on the left. He crosses, looking for Will Keane. Flags up. Be a free kick to Sunderland. Patterson caught the ball anyway from Keane's header.
But there's no urgency in us closing people down, is there? You know, especially in the second half.
Man of the match, Elise Pritchard, Russian.
We've hardly mentioned the likes of Ekwa, has he?
No, he's not been involved really.
Not being involved at all. You know, Dan Neal was picking the ball up in the first 45 minutes, driving at the Preston defence.
Yeah, I think Pritchard will get it. They've not announced it on Sky yet, have they?
Kick from Patterson onto the head of Lindsay.
Look,
and now
there's no
Miller again over on that far side.
You've got to get over to him.
And Pembele goes to kick him. Miller comes inside with it, and Miller still has it. And Ekwa trying to get it. It comes back though to
Pritchard.
Andrew Hughes in the middle. 2.5 minutes played of the minimum 4. Out wide to Potts. Back to Story. Floats one up into the offside. Reese, I think it was, he was actually offside.
So would you say the second half Sunderland have just sort of sat back and thought, well, come on then, you're not going to do it?
Well, who's down? Is that Luke O'Nien?
Luke O'Nien.
He's just picking himself up, Luke O'Nien. Referee on his shoulder, Patterson there as well. We've got
sharp shot coming on Saturday, maybe. Hopefully not. But hey, we've got now to lose Rusty against the Mags. I mean, the amount of money they've spent. I mean, look where they are.
Starting to leave the stadium.
We've got now to lose. We just need to go and enjoy it and just see what happens.
Patterson with the free kick from the edge of the D. drives it up through the middle, looking for Mayenda, but he was held.
Tom Wallace, thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks
Thanks very much for that. Appreciated, man. Thanks, Tom.
Story on this right-hand side. Story back into the middle to Lindsay.
No bar, it's
out
not
to
horrible
Hughes,
about that.
and Hughes then trying to get the ball up to
Happy
Reece
with the point, lads?
at the edge of the penalty. Came off him and will go behind for a goal kick. Off his head. Behind. Goal kick to Sunderland. 20 seconds left. A fairly comfortable win for Sunderland. The most notable thing about it is going to be the fact that Pritchard and Rusyn scored, isn't it? That's going to be the highlight to take from the game.
Positive.
Jacobs just spoiled it now.
And the clean sheet, of course, as the whistle's blown.
Jacobs just spoiled it there. Jacobs just spoiled it.
For Sunderland. Really, Patterson had very little to do in the second half. Not a great deal to do in the first half, but Alex Pritchard's superb strike from 25 yards after 10 minutes.
Full time, well done. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I know it's an early start for New Year's Day, but what a start to the new year for Sunderland.
But something different. They've tried something different, and they've got a result from trying something different.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think Michael Bailey's slowly but surely beginning to know the team, the players. Started to make decisions in regards
Thank you,
of,
every single
who to play,
one of you today.
how to play, changing the system up a little bit.
But
you got to say, first half, excellent, good football play.
Yeah, I think Pritchard does get one of the match. So zooming in on them a lot.
Second half, you got to say, okay, game.
Yeah, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys, in the chat. Whatever you're doing, there's plenty more football on Skype. It's just all through the day.
Effectively
Right the way
cancelled each
through.
other out, really, the second half. It was a stalemate, I think, really. I don't think either side seemed to have the attacking ambition.
Hull
that
can
maybe
knock
they had.
Sunderland back off the playoffs if they win. Are they playing Sheffield Wednesday
Say
today?
Preston are a poor team, but you only can beat what's put in front of you. You know, and you know, you've got to think that the most important thing was picking up 3 points.
Falling in love.
Well, thoughts will turn to next weekend now. Job's come off safely. He's played the
Nice 3 points indeed.
ended up front.
It's mad to think, isn't it? Like Preston were like top of the league at one
He
point.
was left out of the squad this afternoon, presumably just to make sure that hamstring's okay. Mayenda's had another run out. We've also seen Pembele back on the pitch. But the
Next it's Derby v Peterborough and then Sheffield Wednesday, yes, but they're at home, Sheffield Wednesday, and they've had a couple of good results, and it's Liverpool against Newcastle later on, which is just a smallish game. I might
There's a
give
lot
it a
of
miss, to be
positives
honest
there
with
for
you.
Michael Beale. You know, Letty coming back in, first game for months, about 7 months he's been back. So that was excellent. And again, the changes he's made paid off. You know, Rusyn and Pritchard getting the goal, clean sheet. The first 45 minutes I thought we was dominant in there. Now we've just got to take that form into the FA Cup, which is going to be
Saturday.
a totally different type of game.
It will be. It'll be a fascinating game. It's going to be an interesting week, and trying to predict what the team will be against Newcastle United next weekend, well, there's a bit of a job in itself. Much debate about that, I'm sure, through the week, especially now that Nazari Rusyn has got himself a goal, and we've got a striker at Sunderland that can score. 42,714 at the Stadium of Light. 2024 starts well. It ends Sunderland 2, Preston North.
See you, Derek. Thank you very much,
The
all.
FA Cup. And the dream is well and truly on. This game belongs to all of us. On Saturday, Middlesbrough versus Aston Villa.
He's absolutely thundered that into the back of the net.
And on Sunday, Arsenal
Oh, what a brilliant goal. That was superb.
v Liverpool.
The Liverpool fans go wild.
The FA Cup third round. This weekend. Listen on Sounds. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Sunderland beat Preston then by 2-0 this afternoon.
There we are, fantastic. I'm just going to end my stream, so I'm just going to say ta-ra to everybody, and we'll see you on the flip side against a team in black and white. I think it's Grimsby, I think it is. We'll catch you later.